Chapter 1. Reverse the Future. Jingle Bell. When I was on the bedside, the alarm clock was desperately screaming, a gesture of never swearing. Alarm clock, is it time? I wasn't luxurious. I could only think of it as ordinary Simmons. A young man who looked a little flimsy sat up from the bed suddenly, and his face suddenly showed a panic and amazement, unbelievable, blank. Extremely complicated. Faces changing, it's more magical than Sichuan opera changing face. No, how could I be here? Did I dream before? It was all false. Date, yes, date. The young man's face was shocked, and then he panicked and looked at the calendar that appeared on the alarm clock. September 20th, 2019. Why is it the 20th? Am I back 3 days ago or am I just dreaming at all? The young man's face was blue and white, and he murmured to himself. The young man's name is Yi Tianxing. Originally an orphan, he was abandoned from an early age and adopted by the Tianfu orphanage. When he was abandoned, he was 5 years old. The reason was a bit strange. He was abandoned because of his mental disorder, because when he started to remember, began to tell his parents that he can see ghosts that ordinary people cannot see. Little child, without covering his mouth, his words are absurd, and does he mean that there are ghosts around him, walking on the road, and speaking to the air that an uncle with blood is scaring himself? No matter how you look at it, you don't want to be a normal child. Zhen Duan, after being diagnosed in a psychiatric hospital, he was directly judged to have mental problems. Even his biological parents couldn't stand the words of his gods from time to time, and eventually abandoned them and sent them to an orphanage to become an orphan. In the past 2 years, my biological parents would come to visit once or twice in private from time to time, but after a few years, I had a new child, and he was a boy, and never visited again. Yi Tianxing started to be sensible after he was 6 or 7 years old. When he saw other people's fear of their eyes as if they saw ghosts, he became more and more silent, and became lonely. In front of people, he never spoke again. Can see those ghost things. The performance is no different from a normal child. At the age of 80, a kind couple had to be fancy and adopted under him to become adoptive parents. The adoptive parents were Zhao Haifeng and Huang Yu. There is only one woman under the knee, 7 years old, named Zhao Ziyan. For special reasons, they were unable to conceive again after giving birth to Zhao Ziyan, so they adopted Yi Tianxing. After adoption, she was also very good at Yi Tianxing. Just like her own, what is delicious and fun is given to them equally. No colored glasses or anything. Young under the care of her adoptive parents, Yi Tianxing's original cold heart could not help warming up, and she was also a brother and sister with Zhao Ziyan. Zhao Haifeng and Huang Yu are really regarded as their biological parents. For the original biological parents, they have been buried in their hearts for a long time. Now Yi Tianxing is 23 years old, has graduated from college, and has joined the work. However, on the surface, it is normal work, but in reality it is a ghost-seeking business. His pair of eyes are inherently extraordinary, they can see yin and yang, they are innate yin and yang eyes. Although since the orphanage came out, he never said anything about his eyes to his family and friends around him. However, with the increase of age, these pairs of yin and yang eyes have become more amazing. Only now can show 2 yin and yang locks. Yi Tianxing tried. This yin and yang lock is very powerful, even more powerful for the evil spirits. As long as the yin and yang lock is locked, he will immediately arrest him and resist. Over the years, with this ability, Yi Tianxing has also been called a master. For money, there is no shortage. I would say that just go on like this. Life is also very interesting, life is extremely exciting. Alas, what he had experienced before caused him endless fear. It was 3 days ago. Qi Yishenxing turned on the TV, which was playing a news that he had watched 3 days ago. The various furnishings in the home are exactly the same as in the memory 3 days ago. There is no difference at all. Wow, I opened the curtains. On the bustling street outside the window, the siren of the fire truck was constantly shaking the eardrums, and a fire was burning in a shop. These are all that Yi Tianxing has experienced in memory. Everything is confirmed. This is indeed 3 days ago, and somehow he returned to it 3 days ago. San and 3 days ago and 3 days later, it is simply the dividing line between heaven and hell. What are those things? Is it really the end of the day? Monsters, skeletons, zombies, undead spirits, bugs, monsters. Yi Tianxing looked at the pedestrians out of the window, but his eyes seemed to go directly through time and see the future. The scene that emerged 3 days later came to mind. In the early morning of September 23, 2019, when Yi Tianxing stood on the roof of the building to watch the rising sun, he suddenly felt that the whole sun was swallowed up by a weird dark shadow at the moment when it just came out. It was dark, followed closely by thunder and lightning in the void, and cracks appeared almost out of thin air. Plutonium is densely distributed throughout the earth. The sight of those cracks and tears, like the end of the day, followed closely. From the cracks, rushed out countless monsters. Those weird warcraft, monsters, bugs, undead, skeletons and so on, gushing directly from the cracks like raindrops. Kill people when you see them, destroy them in the city madly, and almost in a blink of an eye, there will be a large number of casualties, even torn to pieces. There was chaos everywhere. That scene was terrifying. He is more terrible than the last days. Also, from that crack, various kinds of divine light were spewed out and spread to the world. The divine lights are like meteors, I don't know what is wrapped. Moreover, Yi Tianxing saw with his own eyes that there was a colorful meteor falling directly towards himself. This smashing, even if it is Yi Tianxing himself, is very good. He even practiced martial arts and learned Taijiquan. The yin and yang eyes have strong eyesight, and there is no way to dodge in such an extremely abrupt situation. I had only one chance to dodge, and I was hit by the shooting star. Before I lost my consciousness, I saw it clearly. The one that fell down was a colorful bead. At first glance, it was not anything. But Yi Tianxing only felt a sudden pain, and the whole consciousness completely dissipated. When he woke up again, he had already returned to 3 days ago. I am now. The pictures of that scene were very clearly imprinted in my mind. Those are true. 3 days later, when the end of the day comes, countless monsters fall, the space is broken, and the sun and the moon are no light. Human civilization will be destroyed in a short time, and countless lives will fall in the end. This is not man-made, but natural disaster. I am afraid that we can't escape at all. This is a doomsday disaster. No one can escape. Quote. Yi Yixing smiled secretly in his heart. The shocking scene kept echoing in my mind. I also know that this is almost inevitable. This is not caused by man or a local disaster. It is a doomsday disaster that truly covers the whole world and the entire planet. Once it erupts, no one can avoid that overwhelming monster that can destroy almost everything. Under such a natural disaster, the entire human civilization will be hit hard. I am afraid that there are countless human beings, and it is a lucky thing to survive 1 out of 1,000. Such monsters, facing ordinary people, have a very small chance of survival. Under such circumstances, I am afraid that the army will not be able to resist it. Yi Yixing took a deep breath, without hesitation, quickly took out his mobile phone and dialed the most familiar number. Why, the stronger the wind, the more my heart. Shushi, a familiar ringtone rang in my ear. Brother, why did you call me suddenly? Did you miss me? Not long after, the mobile phone was connected, and a crisp and sweet laugh came from inside, and the host on the other side seemed very happy. Xian. When Yi Tianxing heard the voice from his mobile phone, his face showed a touch of tenderness from his heart, but then his face was straightened and said, now what I say, you should memorize it and take it immediately. Quote. What is it, brother? Zhao Xian asked in amazement. You reading book. Don't ask too much, you should contact your parents immediately, and then rush to SH as soon as I can wait for you at home. There should be no delay along the way. Anything, wait until you meet. Yi Tianxing said quickly. When Zhao Xian heard it, she obviously felt something wrong. It seemed to feel that something big was going to happen. Out of trust, she didn't ask much. She just said, brother, parents are in the institute, and by phone, they are doing an important thing. The research has reached a critical stage. Once it starts, the contact with the outside world will be interrupted. The duration of this research is only 2 or 3 months. They cannot be contacted at all now. The position of the research institute is also a military secret, and I am not nowhere. Quote. At the institute, Yi Tianxing heard that it was also helpless. The research institute where his parents belonged was a military secret. Moreover, the position of the research institute was not on the ground, but was built underneath. The security inside was extremely strict, even for the top agents. It may not be easy to enter. In the research institute, all communications are shielded. The outside world cannot communicate until a certain time. Moreover, the length of stay after entering the institute is uncertain, but now, in the short period of 1 or 2 days, there is definitely no way to contact. Fortunately, in the research institute, it is also extremely safe, and it is entirely possible to wait for the rescue in the future. You don't need to worry about your parents' affairs for the time being, and you will come back as quickly as possible, not more than 2 days. You must return, Yi Tianxing said decisively. After hearing it, Zhao Ziyan, although puzzled, promised to rush back as soon as possible. Yu Reading readers are welcome to come and read. The latest, fastest and hottest serial works are in Yu Reading. Mobile users please read. Chapter 2, Royal Dragon Heavenly Sutra. New books need support, for collection recommendations, smashed with tickets. Close black lens bracket. Then, quickly dialed several numbers. Quick reminders. All calls were made from close brothers and friends. Although he doesn't have many friends, he also has some caring brothers. Juan finished the call. Qi Yishanxing put down his mobile phone and looked at the busy crowd outside the window. These people are still in a hurry, 5 to 9, busy for money one by one. Never idle, did not know that the calamity of the world was coming. There is a great possibility that in 3 days, the order of the entire world will be completely destroyed, civilization will be destroyed, human beings will be slaughtered, everything will be destroyed, and the entire world will be flooded with countless terrible monsters. Billionaires will also become civilians instantly, and anyone will be equal in the face of disaster. Really in a state of relative equality. Although I don't know if it's true or not, whether disasters will happen in 3 days, but it is still necessary to prepare early. Once the civilized order collapses, the whole world will be chaotic, and the money will be wiped out and truly valuable. It's food, it's supplies. There are 3 days left, you can prepare as much as you can. This may be an opportunity before the disaster. Quote. Yi Yishanxing flashed a light in his eyes and quickly made a decision. The experience of these years has already made him understand the cunning rabbits and 3 caves, and he has prepared for the rain. I used my money to buy a piece of land in the suburbs, built a reserve factory on the ground, and dug out a large underground base. There are all kinds of equipment built in it, a lot of materials are stored, and they are placed in the underground base, just in case there is an accident. The reserves in that base can let him survive for about 10 years. This is to prevent accidents and avoid sudden changes. The world and other things happen. There is a place to stay. It's completely ready. It's not going to be used for a lifetime. It was only in a cautious state of mind that preparations had been made since the orphanage had never felt secure. I didn't expect it to be useful now. However, it seems that the supplies prepared before are not enough. There was a faint light flashing in Yi Yisheng's eyes, and he muttered to himself. Immediately took out the mobile phone, quickly dialed a few calls, quickly wiped out a lot of money, in exchange for a list of various supplies, food, medicine and even water, etc., are large orders and large sums throw out the order. All materials will be sent directly to the factory where the base is located within 2 days. After all the supplies are delivered, Yi Tianxing can go at any time and send the materials directly to the underground base. There are special equipment inside the ground. Materials were sent to the underground base at one time. Did the supplies ordered this time are quite amazing. Who after doing this, only then did Yi Tianxing start to think about his own changes. I remember, a lot of divine light flew out of the crack 3 days later. One of the divine light wrapped a colorful orb and hit my head. I don't know if the bead is still there. Yi Yisheng secretly suspected. I'm sure that the culprit that brought him back 3 days ago must be the bead. That is definitely not an ordinary orb. Although he has not practiced any exercises, Yi Tianxing can still do what he wants. He has an unusual pair of eyes. The various things he experienced also made his mind much more mature and rich than ordinary people. He had no fear, and secretly focused and began to look inside. It's really in my head. With this inner view, Yi Tianxing could not help but tremble. Under the inner view, he immediately felt that there was a mysterious colorful bead flowing in his mind. Jane Lingju seemed extremely divine. Between the circulations, there were small and unsearchable ancient characters appearing on the Lingju, and the characters seemed to be constantly changing like tiny dragons. That seemed to be some kind of mysterious text, containing mysterious power. The Royal Dragon Classic. A message also appeared in the mind of Yi Yisheng, and an ancient writing method was seen in the text emerging from the spirit beads. At the same time, a part of the message was passed directly to the mind. From the spirit beads, he impressively records an ancient mysterious method called Yulong Tian Jing, which has an extraordinary origin in itself, but it is a method that is truly bred from the heaven and earth. There is also a brief overview of the state of practice in. The first realm is called Shanhai realm. In fact, this realm, which is also called Chi-Ji in other populations, and Chi-Chi-Ji, etc., are actually one purpose, to open their own Chi-Hai. Look at the source of your own strength and open the source. The legendary martial arts masters who can make 1,000 miles by leaps and bounds, leap across mountains and rivers, and smash the bullfights with swords and Chi are all warriors who open the Sea of God's possession of Chi and reach the Sea of God. The god of the sea is strong, can be as light as a swallow, has a surge in abilities, can emit radon, and even protects the gods. Can practice martial arts swordsmanship and so on, exerting good combat power. God Sea, open the sea of God's possession of gas, through the 8 beautiful veins of the whole body, through the bridge of heaven and earth, the sea of gas is the ocean, the river is the river, the sea is full of rivers, and it is endless. Once it is complete, it is the innate realm of the general population. However, the Chi-Hai here was not opened in Dantian. Opening up in Dantian is also a method, but this is the acquired law. According to ancient tradition, the human body has an air at birth, and this air is the innate air brought out from the mother. But as the day after tomorrow devours the grains and grains, the innate air will eventually dissipate and turn into the day after tomorrow. Chi, this gas is in Dantian. Luo Dantian can gather gas, which is recorded in many classics in ancient times, but this is only one of the best practice methods, even the simplest practice method. The advantage is that the entry is simple and the threshold is the lowest. As long as you have certain qualifications, you can slowly develop a sense of Chi, refine Chi, and accumulate a little bit. It is also called Chi-Hai, but it is not Shanhai. The real Shanhai is in the position of the navel eye. The navel eye, in the mother's body, is a direct channel connecting the mother's body. The fetus receives nutrients from the umbilical cord and is transmitted from the umbilical cord. It also has the innate air from the mother's body. Therefore, when the navel is born, it is the key place to hide the nutrients and warm the blood of the whole body. All supplies are handled in this place. Only after the fetus was born, the umbilical cord was cut and turned into navel eyes. The navel eye has also become the most vulnerable part of the human body. You can even feel the air flowing in and out of the position of the navel eye. Once cold, it is more prone to abdominal colds and so on. For practitioners, the most important thing is to reopen the sea of the navel in the navel eyes, so that this weakness is completely gone. The navel eye is a natural channel for the human body to communicate with the outside world. Once you open the treasure of the sea, you can immediately follow the navel eye. Position, devour the heaven and earth vitality, merge into one's own body, and keep getting stronger. If you open up the sea of gas from Dantian, you will not have such an ingenuity, you can only refine refined gas and practice it a little bit. Not only is it slow, but in the end, you still have to hit Shanhai where the navel eyes are from Dantian Chi-Hai, and reopen Shanhai. It takes years and even futile. However, if the Shanhai realm is in the hands of ordinary people at normal times, even if there is a correct cultivation method, it is necessary to form a sense of Chi formally and open the sea of tidal gas. It is a long process for ordinary people, even dozens. Years may not be able to develop a sense of anger, and formally embark on the path of spiritual practice. Talented people may even be able to develop a sense of Chi within 2 or 3 days, or even get started in a few hours. This is the gap between qualifications. If ordinary people take the road to open up the fields of Dantian, they have hope of practice. Da Bu Fen, most of the practice of cultivating Shanhai directly from the navel eyes has been lost. Even if there is no loss, the heavens and the earth have changed, and the vitality of the heavens and the earth has dissipated and become extremely thin. Many practitioners have fallen because of this, martial arts have become legends, and immortal methods have become myths. It is extremely difficult to achieve anything unless it is born with a certain aspect. The time spent is also extremely long. Time is long. Some exorcists known to Yi Tianxing mostly rely on various types of magical instruments or have some abilities themselves, but most of them are the legacy of the division, with the help of Fuyu and even the elixir left on their ancestors. Develop a little practice. In today's modern times, even so, it is also worshipped as a master of behavior, and is regarded as a guest by many rich and nobles. Yi Xingxing himself also relies on a pair of born innate yin and yang eyes, Yuekanshu. Although calm did not repair, but it can still drive away evil spirits. Moreover, with the continuous suppression and even devouring of ghost spirits, the power of yin and yang eyes continues to increase, making them stronger and stronger. The power is already quite good. At a certain level, it has great fame. In the field of exorcism, he is also a well-known figure. What is contained in this royal dragon heavenly scripture is a top-notch cultivation practice method. When you begin to cultivate, you need to absorb dragon gas to practice. This dragon gas can be the spirit of dragon veins, or the spirit of true dragons. It can be dynasty, but without dragon spirit, there is no way to get started. Therefore, the key to this royal dragon Tianjing is a dragon spirit. As long as a dragon spirit is used as a seed to open up the Shanhai, then it can be directly used as a seed to absorb the vitality of the heavens and the earth, warm the dragon, and fill the Shanhai regardless of the magnificent sea. Without this dragon spirit as a guide, this exercise is a display. There is no way to practice. If you want to cultivate, you can only find the land of dragon veins, draw on the veins of dragon veins, or slaughter dragon species, capture dragon chi, or true dragon emperor who has the imperial destiny of yourself, and you can directly practice without taboo. Getting started is difficult, but once getting started, the open Shanhai is not an ordinary Shanhai, but a real dragon sea with a dragon source. The dragon spirit is cultivated, which is born to be stronger and more powerful than ordinary aura. This is not only the case of the Royal Dragon Classic. Many excellent exercises have special requirements. For example, some exercises need to absorb the energy of fire, integrate it into the body, and open up the sea of energy. Divine power and more. Each has its own mystery. UU Reading readers are welcome to come and read. The latest, fastest and hottest serial works are in UU Reading. Mobile users please read. Chapter 3, Ancestral Aura. Please recommend collection. The tome will be updated at the same time. Please rest assured that the book will be finished. Close black lens bracket. Looking for dragon veins. Emperor's breath, true dragon's breath. I can't get any of them. If I have dragon veins, I won't look for dragon points, and it's not true dragon emperor blood veins. It's no different from scrap. Quote. After scrutinizing the key points of it carefully, Yi Tianxing couldn't help smiling on the spot. This is clearly a top-notch method, but you can't fix it at all. You can see it, but you can't fix it. The feeling is that you are obviously keeping billions of things, but your wealth is not yours. It was unbearable. Those who don't have top-notch methods are not afraid. Most of the repairs are chi-hai without attributes. After imagination is enough. Contemplation is the first step in any exercise. Ordinary exercises, you can imagine that there is an invisible chi in dandan. Eventually a sense of anger develops. After all, everyone has chi in their bodies. Born is the innate chi, and when they grow up, it is the acquired chi. A breath still stands for life. This breath is fate. In superior exercises, you can visualize various things, such as the lights, the water, the rivers, and so on. Visualize with your own will. Let yourself be like the incarnation lights, water, and rivers. Pull out the sleepy air machine inside. This is the sense of chi. Once it is drawn, it can sense Dantian and open up the sea of God. In the Royal Dragon Heavenly Scriptures, there is also a method of imagination, and what is conceived as a picture of an ancestor dragon. As long as you contemplate in a place with dragon spirits, you can absorb dragon spirits, condense the seeds of dragon spirits, and open up the sea of gods. This method of doing so is not indispensable and irreplaceable. There is less than 3 days to usher in the end. This possibility is extremely great. This bead can knock me back 3 days ago. How can there be no way for me to embark on the path of spiritual practice? It is really a fate. Yi Yixing smiled secretly. The picture after 3 days, the countless demons and monsters that came, fierce beasts like tide, if there is no ability, I'm afraid that they will still be extremely dangerous. If they die for a lifetime, whether they can survive is completely unknown. That scene is terrible. It is a disaster of natural disaster level. He truly destroys everything and destroys everything. Even if there is a pair of congenital yin and yang eyes, there is no sense of security. What he has to do is not only to protect his own safety, but also the safety of his younger sister Zhao Ziyan, even the safety of adoptive parents. To protect the family, the current strength is not enough. Power, need more power. I lost my parents and family. He definitely didn't want to lose a second time. He hopes that everyone he cares for will survive. And this requires powerful power, the power to change destiny, at least to take the first step. And this royal dragon Tianjing is a ladder to ascend the sky. No matter what, try it anyway, don't try it yourself, no matter how you are. Yi Tianxing took a deep breath, and was unwilling to the Yonglong Tianjing in his body, although the threshold of cultivation was extremely high. Gao, however, if you do and try it yourself, you won't be relieved. Even if you ca and get started, there is absolutely no danger. I can't do much at this time. Imagine the 4C ancestors. Ji Yishanxing immediately no longer hesitated, and began to visualize directly. On the spiritual bead, the natural puppets emitted countless milliseconds of light, quickly intertwined together to form a magical scroll. In that scroll, the waves of the sea, a vast ancestor dragon swam in the air across the sea. The vast body of the dragon, tens of thousands of miles away, has 9 claws underneath it, and the dragon's whisker, which is lifelike, exudes endless majesty. Overlooking the 4 seas. He seems to be the master of the whole world, the emperor in the 4 seas. He leads the whole world. No one dared to rebel and dare to shock his majesty. This is the ancestor dragon. In the legend, there is the supreme existence between heaven and earth, and it is proud of the sky. Yi Yishanxing could not help but give birth to a shock. However, I still have no confidence in the ability to practice this peerless method. Brush. In Yi Tianxing's mind, when he thought about the 4C ancestral dragon pictures, secretly, his mind naturally merged into the ancestor dragon in the imagination map, imagining that he was an ancestor dragon, and he was able to pour the mysterious dragon spirit between heaven and earth. The ancestral dragon opened its mouth and made a posture of swallowing. If there is a dragon vein air or even a real dragon air outside, it will be swallowed by the ancestor dragon and incorporated into the body to refine the dragon air seeds. Hit the navel eye, open up the sea of energy, and officially step into the realm of Shanghai. If not, nothing can be swallowed. Yi, oh, what is this? From the perspective of Yi Tianxing, he was like an ancestor, and he swallowed with his mouth. This swallowing had no expectation, he just tried it subconsciously, but he didn't expect the sucking, but he felt clear then, a mysterious breath was sucked into Zulong's body. Get together quickly. This is Long Qi. Yi Yixing was shocked and looked quickly. I swallowed again, and suddenly saw, in my mind, a mysterious gas burst out on the quaint stone beads, which seemed to be some kind of dragon gas. This dragon spirit turned out from the stone beads. It's great. I did not expect that this stone bead contains dragon gas. As long as enough dragon gas is absorbed, it will be enough to quench the seeds of dragon gas, open up the sea of hidden gas, open the sea of gas, and enter Shanghai. The first step of spiritual practice is that when you have the foundation, you no longer need to look for pure dragon spirit, and use the vitality of heaven and earth to warm up, so that you can strengthen your own cultivation. Quote. Yi Yishanxing was overjoyed. I originally thought that I had obtained the exercises in vain, but I wanted to guard a Baoshan that could not be developed. I did not expect that this stone bead would contain dragon spirit. This was simply buying one, getting one free, anxious. Imagine that Zulong swallowed 9 dragons in one face from the stone beads before they became saturated, and the dragon spirit contained in the stone beads was completely absorbed. No more drips left. Ong. Jay Zulong sprayed his mouth open. Suddenly, an unpretentious dragon ball sprayed out of his mouth. This dragon ball was formed by condensing the breath of 9 ancestral dragons that he had previously absorbed. This is a seed, a true dragon seed. Dragon ball all the way down through the 12th floor. Fall straight into the position of the belly button. Wei Ji, this location is not easy. The navel eye itself is occluded, polluted by the day after tomorrow, and in a state of chaos. Xuan Longzu was born in the sky. As soon as he entered the Dantian, a mysterious light burst into bloom, which illuminated the chaos around him. The chaos continued to melt wherever the ***** light went, opening up a void in the sky. It seems to be the first light of heaven and earth. Shine through the darkness. However, this is not without cost. With the increasing chaos, Dragon Ball is also shrinking at a speed that is visible to the naked eye. When the dragon **** completely dissipated, in the navel's eyes, a sea of Chi Poseidon with a size of 9 feet has been opened. At the same time, we can see that a ray of chaotic gas is circling in the Shanghai. This gas looked closely, like a real dragon, migrating in the Sea of God. Each gas is a dragon gas, exuding strong coercion. It turned out that Zhejiang Shanghai was opened. I don't know if it is large or small. However, according to the Yulong Tian Jing, the next step is to continuously absorb the vitality of heaven and earth, refine the dragon's energy, and flood Shanghai. What? At that time, the dragon spirit can completely fill the Zhejiang Shanghai, which is to reach the first place in the Shanhai realm. It also needs to run through the whole body with 12 cannons, and 8 classic veins. Quote. Yi Tianxing looked inwardly, clearly seeing the sea of qi opened in the navel of his body, which was the size of a full circle of 9 feet. However, he was the first to practice spiritual practice, and he didn't know it at all. The sea, among the monks in the same realm, is big or small. However, I still know that the spiritual practice of Shanhai is to accumulate vitality and open up the meridians of the whole body. Through the second bridge of heaven and earth, at that time, Shanhai was gradually getting better. Jin, now that he has just developed his first breath of energy, it is impossible to open up the whole body meridian. I don't need to think about it. Unfortunately, the time is too short. There is no time for me to practice quietly. The calamity is coming. Although I opened up the sea of gas, broke through the Shanhai realm, and became a monk, the cultivation was still too low. Dragon's qi doesn't play a big role at all. If you can meditate for a period of time, you may become the whole card. What I can rely on is my congenital yin and yang eyes. Quote. Yi Yixing took a deep breath. Yu reading www.yuakanshu.com recovered from inside. The color of perseverance appeared on his face, and he had a clear understanding of his own strength. Although he opened up the sea of qi, he only laid the foundation for spiritual practice. In this calamity, all that can be relied upon is his original talents, innate yin and yang. Mind a moment. The mind is immersed in its own yin and yang eyes. In the yin and yang eyes, it has a black and white air. This black and white air floats and fills both eyes. This black and white gas seems to be the yin and yang air, and it is also the innate yin and yang air. Eyes born in China. The origin in the two eyes is the same, almost one. There is an independent space in my eyes to accommodate the yin and yang air. This innate yin and yang entangled in the eyes and turned into a black and white yin and yang picture. However, this yin and yang figure Yi Tianxing can't drive himself, just let it run by itself. In the past, Yi Tianxing had no specific cultivation method at all. He could only rely on himself to figure out various Taoist classics and even the explosive information on the internet. One of the methods was to absorb the essence of the sun and the moon to enhance the innate yin and yang. The power of the eye, the sun is the power of the sun, and the moon is the power of the yin. Eyes look directly at the sun during the day, absorb the power of the sun, look at the moon at night, absorb the power of the moon, not to mention, although Yi Tianxing does not know how to practice, there is no way to drive the yin and yang figure in the eyes, but by they operate on their own, and they can really extract the essence of the sun and the moon and transform them into yin and yang. Also, it is congenital yin and yang, but its efficiency is extremely low. So far, it has grown very slowly. You reading readers are welcome to come and read. The latest, fastest and hottest serial works are in UU Reading. Mobile users please read. Chapter 4, Congenital Yin and Yang. Happy National Day, recommended collection, new books need nutrients. Recommend more and better. Close black lens bracket. The second thing is to hunt and kill the ghosts and wicked spirits. Once killed, these ghosts and wicked spirits will be swallowed by the yin and yang eyes on the spot. The fusion of the power of the soul and the yin and yang will give birth to 2 yin and yang locks. At first, these 2 yin and yang locks were extremely illusory. Later, after absorbing the power of the souls of some naturally broken souls, they slowly condensed into substance and had powerful power. From being able to see ghosts, to being able to hunt and kill directly. Even this yin and yang lock can not only hunt fierce ghosts and grievances, but also rival common creatures. Yin and yang lock can not only suppress the evil spirits, but also judge the sentient beings. If ordinary people are hit by yin and yang lock, not only the physical body will be injured, but even the soul may be pulled directly and attack the soul directly. Qi Yi Tianxing once showed a villain who was going to rob a female student. The bastard, who was beaten on the spot, fleshed out, and the soul was wounded and he was unconscious. Moreover, after being admitted to the hospital, he was directly judged as a vegetative, and he would never wake up. Even if he woke up, he might become an idiot or even a mentally handicapped person. That was just when the yin and yang locks were condensed. Now, if it is displayed to a living person, the soul in the other person's body can be knocked out of the body in an instant and annihilated. Yi Tianxing looked at the 2 black and white chains in the eyes, each of which was connected by a small oval ring, and each ring appeared a black and white innate. The texture is independent and perfectly blended, which is amazing. But Yi Tianxing knew that every ring on the yin and yang lock was formed by the grievances and even the ghosts. When the killing grievances and the ghosts reached a certain level, there was an extra ring on it. Remember, after the first yin and yang lock condensed out, hundreds of grievous spirits, evil spirits, and so on were hunted and killed in succession, and then they were allowed to give birth to 981 rings, forming a 3 or 4 meter long yin-yang lock. Subsequently, a second yin and yang lock was derived. Today, the second yin and yang lock also condenses 981 yin and yang rings, forming a complete yin and yang lock. Yi Tianxing speculated that 981 yin and yang rings are the limits of yin and yang locks. Yi Tianxing once showed a villain who was going to rob a female student. The bastard, who was beaten on the spot, fleshed out, and the soul was wounded and he was unconscious. Moreover, after being admitted to the hospital, he was directly judged as a vegetative, and he would never wake up. Even if he woke up, he might become an idiot or even a mentally handicapped person. That was just when the yin and yang locks were condensed. Now, if it is displayed to a living person, the soul in the other person's body can be knocked out of the body in an instant and annihilated. Yi Tianxing looked at the two black and white chains in the eyes, each of which was connected by a small oval ring, and each ring appeared a black and white innate. The texture is independent and perfectly blended, which is amazing. But Yi Tianxing knew that every ring on the yin and yang lock was formed by the grievances and even the ghosts. When the killing grievances and the ghosts reached a certain level, there was an extra ring on it. Remember, after the first yin and yang lock condensed out, hundreds of grievous spirits, evil spirits, and so on were hunted and killed in succession, and then they were allowed to give birth to 981 rings, forming a 3 or 4 meter long yin-yang lock. Subsequently, a second yin and yang lock was derived. Today, the second yin and yang lock also condenses 981 yin and yang rings, forming a complete yin and yang lock. Therefore, he also speculated that the 981 yin and yang rings should be the limit of yin and yang locks. It is not easy to gather 2 yin and yang locks. In reality, although there are ghosts and ghosts, there are few who can stay in the sun, and some are ordinary ghosts. There is nothing too much. Being more conscious and not harmful, just a poor lonely ghost. Although Yi Yixing can see these ghosts, they have already been used to it for the past 10 or 20 years. Although it has the talents of innate yin and yang eyes, the yin and yang lock does need a lot of souls to condense and enhance its power. But there has never been a killer or hunting on those lonely ghosts and ghosts. After these years, only 2 complete yin and yang locks have been condensed. These 2 yin and yang locks are Yi Tianxing's reliance today. He holds the card and can be a killer for peace of mind. I hope these 2 yin and yang locks will be of great use. Let me settle down and protect my family. What I can rely on now is these eyes. Yi Tianxing looked at the 2 yin and yang locks in his eyes, eagerly, with expect. I felt a sense of security in my heart. The strength is the guarantee of survival, and in troubled times, this is the capital. Others are false. He can see that by the time of the catastrophe, all the social order will be completely collapsed, and the high-ranking big men will fall into the dust, and the bright stars will be no different from ordinary people, and billionaires are no less ordinary. One more life, I'm afraid that everything will be pulled to the same starting line. Sudden strength is the only guarantee in a calamity. Others are false. Try to see if the true dragon qi in the body can urge innate yin and yang eyes. Yi Yixing started to make new attempts. This test is even more shocking. Although there is only one true dragon qi in the body, when the dragon qi is used to motivate the yin and yang eyes, the pair of yin and yang gods in the yin and yang eyes can be pushed. At the moment, I immediately felt that the essence of the sun and the moon pouring into the eyes from the outside world soared instantly. Soared more than 10 times. Instantly, the yin and yang qi in the eyes increased. I was simply incredible. Yuan Lai, that's the case. Only when you really set foot on the path of cultivation and become a monk can you truly motivate the yin and yang eyes, cultivate the yin and yang eyes, and really run their power. Before, you were simply sitting in Baoshan without knowing it. Storming heaven. Yi Yixing gave birth to a hint of enlightenment. The use of dragon air to enter the yin and yang eyes can increase the practice of yin and yang eyes several times, more than dozens of times. Let the growth of yin and yang eyes be even more amazing, really exert the power of yin and yang eyes, and even increase their eyesight, faintly see through the yin and yang void. It is incredible. Moreover, the tighter control over the control of yin and yang locks, such as waving an arm, makes it easy to do whatever you want, which is very amazing. Cultivation realm is divided into Shanhai realm, Mingqiao realm, Mingtu realm, and legal phase realm. In the Shanhai realm, there are gas gathering, Shengquan, and Huahai. There are 3 orders and 9 folds. Gas gathering is first order, 1 to 3-fold, Shengquan is first order, 4-fold to 6-fold, and Huahai is first order, as from the 7th to the 9th. The Shanhai realm, the 9th heaven, and the first order one day. The legendary innate realm is actually the Shengquan order in the Shanhai realm. Quote, the life-knowing situation is the beginning of supernatural powers. It opens up condensed life knows, and supernatural powers in life. Life knows are supernatural powers. What kind of life knows can be condensed? What kind of supernatural powers can be found in all beings? Maybe the birth of the innate destiny, which was revealed at the beginning and showed supernatural powers. My innate yin and yang eyes, if nothing unexpected, is just a congenital destiny. Quote, unfortunately, I only have the cultivation method of Shanhai realm. The method of Faden realm is sealed in my mind and cannot be detected at all. Otherwise, I can also know about Faden reality. If I can get a complete picture of Faden reality, it would be great. Yi Tianxing groaned secretly. I was already guessing in my heart that my innate yin and yang eyes were a kind of innate destiny. Awakening innately can make you have great power, exorcism, and slaying evil spirits. I glanced at the clock hanging on Chang. September 21, 2019. It's been a day, and time really doesn't wait for anyone. This practice has passed so quickly. No wonder there is a saying in ancient books, there is only one day in the mountains, and the world has been 1,000 years. The 23rd is the day when the cataclysm comes, and there are still 2 days left. I don't know if the little girl has returned. Qi Yishanxing took a deep breath and looked out the window, a look of worry appeared in his eyes. Click, I was secretly worried about Yi Tianxing, and when I was about to make a call again, there was a sound of key rotation outside. You reading books. I turned around and looked, and the door was opened. A young girl in a purple dress carried a backpack and walked in. She was only 22 years old and full of youth. Her appearance was impeccable, and she was absolutely beautiful. Everywhere you go, it will cause countless peeping from the opposite sex. The most exciting thing is that she has a quiet temperament, like Xiaojiabiu, the girl next door. It's Zhao Ziyan to meet this person. Behind Zhao Ziyan, she also followed a young girl, about the same age as her, both in her 20s. A pair of slender pair looked very round and plump against the background of jeans. A good figure is perfectly outlined, with long black hair, a melon seed face, no blemishes, white skin, and indescribable touching. At a glance, it gives a pretty shocking beauty. It is placed anywhere, is a school-level beauty, the real goddess. I have a touch of coldness and a touch of British spirit. Regardless of appearance or temperament, she is almost equal to Zhao Ziyan, and each has her own victory. Brother. When Zhao Ziyan saw Yi Tianxing, her eyes filled with smiles, and she shouted cheerfully. Well, come in fast. Yi Yishan took Zhao Ziyan's backpack off, looked at the girl behind, and asked, little girl, this is? Brother, this is my college classmate. My girlfriend living in a dormitory, Tang Zidong. Zhao Ziyan heard it and immediately smiled and introduced. Zitong, this is my brother, Yi Tianxing. I told you before. Quote. You reading readers are welcome to come and read. The latest, fastest and hottest serial works are in UU Reading. Mobile users please read. Chapter 5, Prepare Supplies. Obviously Tang Zidong is not a contorted person. He smiled and reached out and said, hello, brother Yi, at school, Ziyan often mentioned you. This time I heard that Ziyan was coming back suddenly, just to accompany Ziyan to come and see look. Hello, please inside. Yi Tianxing nodded his head and reached out and shook his hand, but just released it with a light grip. Enter the house. Wu Yishanxing also quickly boiled water, brewed 3 cups of tea, and Longjing before the rain, which was sent by a previous customer. Brother, is there something wrong this time, and even called me back in such an anxiety? Did you find the sister-in-law, and you want to introduce it to me first, and then I will give you some good words in front of my parents? Quote. Zhao Ziyan laughed and sat on the soft sofa, asking curiously. Your brother and I are alone, where are you from? Yi Tianxing looked at Zhao Ziyan with a helpless smile, and said, you can rest assured that if you are looking for a sister-in-law, you will be asked to check first. This time, calling you back is a big deal. Squinting a glance at Tang Zidong, Zhao Ziyan immediately took Tang Zidong's hand and said closely, brother, Zitong is my best girlfriend. We have always talked about nothing. There is no secret, it is not an outsider. You can say anything. Obviously, there is indeed a deep feeling for Tang Zidong in his words. The relationship between girlfriends is not easy to understand. I also shook his head. Alas, nothing was said about this. If he had not experienced the cataclysm himself, and he had almost died in the cataclysm, he would not believe it. The cataclysm is in front of him. This is the next day. Tomorrow is the time when the cataclysm occurs. Even if it is spread, there is nothing, maybe a group of people can escape the disaster. I had a dream yesterday. Yi Tianxing groaned and said slowly. What kind of dreams are you dreaming of, brother? You rarely dream, and every dream seems to be very effective. Zhao Ziyan heard the interest immediately, but she knew that Yi Tianxing had rarely dreamed since childhood. Every dream indicates something unusual. Here now, where would you not be curious? I dream of a world cataclysm at the end of the world. Qi Yishanxing took a deep breath and said Shen Shang. What? Zhao Ziyan exclaimed on the spot. Tang Zidong's face was also shocked, and he didn't understand how Yi Tianxing suddenly dreamed of such a scene, or the end of the world, the catastrophe of the heavens and the earth. This is not a good dream. To terrible upheaval. Brother, do you mean that this world will soon usher in a doomsday catastrophe, so it will suddenly call me back, and want my parents to come back together? Zhao Ziyan is also Bingshe smart, immediately figured out why she suddenly received a call to get her back. A tadpole was born in my heart. She is very clear, Yi Tianxing's dream is accurate, and it is not ordinary. Really dreaming, there must be something happening, and most of the dream scenes will come true. Isn't it really the end of the world? The end of the world is coming. It seems impossible, Tang Zidong groaned. Now it is not 2012, and nowadays, there are no news reports about the virus and plague in the world. There are no earthquakes and tsunamis. Most of the world is calm. Why? There will be a sudden doomsday catastrophe. Quote. She has a fairly good understanding of current events. There are no abnormalities in all parts of the world. Since except for a biochemical crisis, countries around the world are extremely strict about biochemical viruses. Whatever the end of biochemistry, zombies and the like, will be completely destroyed. Everyone is afraid of death. The virus doesn't have eyes. I saw in the dream that the sky was cracking and countless monsters emerged from it, descending on the earth, killing wildly, corpses everywhere, blood everywhere. That scene is no worse than the end of biochemistry. And, it is more dangerous and always at any time it is possible to die. For ordinary people, that is the end. Quote. Qi Yishanxing took a deep breath and said flatly. I did not see it with my own eyes, it was almost impossible to imagine the horror of the picture. I faced the scene, even if he was not ordinary, there was a kind of despair and weakness. No one can stop it. Once it begins, what is really will be destroyed, completely destroyed, all order and morals will collapse. This is just a dream, it may not come true. Tang Zidong frowned slightly, still a little unbelievable. If she hadn't heard of the magic of Yi Tianxing from Zhao Ziyan's mouth, she even knew it through relationships. Yi Tianxing is indeed a well-known exorcist in the dark world. Ability. In the exorcism line, they are second to none and well-known. If it weren't for him, others would say such things, she would ignore them, and treat them as crazy. Be prepared, but the day after tomorrow will be clear. If there is nothing wrong, there will be a cataclysm on the early morning of the 23rd, now it is the afternoon of the 21st, and tomorrow will be 22, the day after tomorrow will know if it is accurate. There is always a case for everything, so be prepared and you will never be wrong. Quote. Yi Tianxing glanced at Tang Zidong, and did not have the luxury to just say a few words on his own to make people believe, or even to believe it, that is impossible. I really want to believe that there is a ghost. Well, brother, what are we going to do? Zhao Ziyan also said when she heard that she didn't have too much fear on her face. You should know that she practiced inner boxing with Yi Tianxing at ordinary times. Tai Jiquan also had some accomplishments. In leisure, 3 or 5 young people could not get near. Body. I remember that when she went to school alone, some scum outside the school wanted to stop and rob, and she lay on the ground with 3 punches and 2 feet, and did not dare to move. Colophon is to keep her away from the nearby campus and away from her, for fear of encountering this amazing girl. I have martial arts, and my courage is enough. When I heard Yi Tianxing say something that shocked the world, he didn't seem to panic, but had the calmness that ordinary people don't. Before you came, I was ready to order a large number of supplies through various channels, and some were sent directly to a secret base I set up in the suburbs, where some people would receive the supplies and send them to the base, and that base is an underground base. Even the guards above do not know the mystery of the underground base. Quote. All the supplies are in sealed packages, without any knowledge and without dismantling, no one can know what is in them. The guards are loyal, honest, and credible people. They have been instructed long ago that they only need to send the goods, put it directly into the channel, transport it to the base, and you can leave. Once closed, no one can open it except my password, and the entrance to the underground base cannot be found. Quote, the materials purchased this time are enough for tens of thousands of people to eat for a year. It will take a year. Yi Yishenxing looked very confident. The materials purchased this time can be said to be a huge sum of money, not only for food and clothing, but also for various medicines and even seeds of various species are among the purchases. This secret base was built by his own hands. Moreover, in case of possible accidents, he built it directly to the standards of air defense and nuclear explosion prevention. The large space inside and the exquisite equipment are all top level in the world. Factors such as privacy and security have been taken into account from the outset. Few people knew that even a caretaker thought it was just a warehouse. Don't know the specific mystery. Modern technology is fast. It takes only 1 to 2 days to transport these large materials. If it is fast, it will not be needed at all. There is still a part, I directly send the courier company here. There are some security supplies. It should be almost time to calculate the time. Yi Tianxing raised his hand and looked at the watch on his wrist, smiling. Said slowly. Ding dong. I soon heard Yi Tianxing's voice fall. I heard a crisp doorbell from outside the door. Zhao Ziyan quickly stepped forward, opened the door, and saw that outside the security door, several courier personnel were carrying a lot of items, standing at the door, holding the courier slip, and looking at the unit number, asking, excuse me, is this Mr. Yi Tianxing's home? Quote, I am Yi Tianxing. Yu reading. Yi Tianxing also came to the door and nodded slightly and agreed. I have your courier, please sign for Mr. Yi. The courier handed over the courier slip and said. Immediately, after the two sides verified their identities and signed their signatures, boxes of articles kept being delivered to their homes. After a while, the halls were almost stacked. There are all kinds of items. When the courier was moving, he smiled and asked Yi Tianxing if he wanted to open a supermarket store or something. Even buying so many items at once was still wholesale in large quantities. Most people don't do this. As he was moving the parcel, he couldn't help asking two questions. Is Mr. Yi planning to open a shop and buy so many items at one time? I haven't encountered any of them after delivering these multiple courier items. I am very curious in my speech. After all, it is very rare for me to buy so many things at once. No, if you have relatives who want to buy these things, just drop them here, and they will come and take them later. Yi Tianxing said with a smile, calmly. He did not reveal his true purpose. Chat casually. Under Yi Tianxing and the courier, all the packages were quickly moved to the lobby, and all kinds of packages were stacked in the lobby. The originally neat lobby turned into a warehouse. After acceptance, several courier members also left. Close the door. Zhao Ziyan and Tang Zidong both looked dumbfounded at the huge pile of materials in the hall. These things are placed in the lobby, and there is almost no space to pass by. Nowhere to put your feet. Yu reading readers are welcome to come and read. The latest, fastest and hottest serial works are in Yu reading. Mobile users please read. Chapter 6. Doomsday Cataclysm. Brother, do you really want to be so exaggerated? You even ordered so many supplies at once. If you want to eat so many things, you can't finish it in a few months. And, what is this? Zhao Ziyan walked to the coffee table in the middle of the hall. There are several boxes on it, all of which are closed. The password lock is used. The password is incorrect and cannot be opened. It is very secretive on the packaging. Without opening, no one will know what's inside. It was very heavy when it was carried before. I'm prepared, I'm not short of this money anyway, there is nothing wrong with more preparation. Yi Tianxing smiled indifferently, stepped forward a few steps, unlocked the password one by one, and entered the correct password. At the time of purchase, the password was sent to the phone by the other party. Click, a sip of the box was opened. After I opened it, the items displayed inside were also instantaneous, making Zhao Ziyan and Tang Zidong both dazzled, opened their mouths, and looked at the items in the box in amazement. Brother, you have bought so many cold weapons. Zhao Ziyan was surprised. He only saw that in these boxes, all kinds of cold weapons were loaded. Longchen sword, Tang sword, octagonal sword, composite folding bow, Arthur Knox crossbow, and spear. There are even anti-stab suits, multifunctional engineering shovel, military anti-terrorist sniper crossbow, tiger tooth saber, etc. All of them are cold weapons. There is a box, all of them are sharp battle arrows. The tip of the arrow flashes cold light, it looks like a weapon for killing. It has opened the front, stabbed the key, and can instantly die. All of these are simple furnishings, but the cold weapons that have actually opened the front. If taken out, they can kill people. The sharpness is extremely inferior to the ancient magic weapon. They are made of top alloy materials. If the doomsday disaster really occurs, then these weapons are the basis for our future life. Xian, what weapon do you want to use? Choose one now. Yi Tianxing said slowly. Well, Sister Zitong, you can also pick one. Zhao Xian said without hesitation. Sui Ran, although she has a gentle temperament, she has practiced martial arts since she was a child, and runs around with Yi Tianxing. She is bolder than ordinary girls. Even if she is facing these weapons, she has no fear. Then he was ready to pick one. I want this Longchen sword, which is just suitable for girls. It won't be too heavy. After Zhao Xian glanced a few times, she picked up the Longchen sword and drew it out. Well, the Longchen sword is really suitable for you, not too heavy, and it is very sharp. This is a masterpiece created by the swordsmith's heart. It is a masterpiece. If it is not for my relationship, most people will not get it. The sword is it's sharp and blows hair. You can get used to it and avoid being completely unfamiliar in the future. Yi Tianxing nodded when she saw her choice, agreeing. This is not a joke. Here, each piece is the best product of its kind. The materials used are all top-grade materials, and most of them are cold weapons created by hand. Every piece is usually difficult for ordinary people to buy. If it were not for the network of relationships that Yi Tianxing has built over the years, these things would not have been available in a short time. Give me this tang knife. Tang Zidong reached out to pick up a tang knife and pulled it out. There was a wave of autumn waves on the knife body, cold and glittering. There was a kind of chill on the blade. These are all sharp swords that have opened the front. They are absolutely blown hair and extremely sharp. In addition, tang knives are not light in weight. They are made of special materials and weigh more than 5 pounds in their hands. They are 1 meter and 3 meters long. Adult men will have a hard time holding them. It is heavier than an ordinary tang sword. But Tang Zidong didn't seem to be struggling when he took it in his hands. Instead, he felt a moderate weight. He drew a knife flower in front of him. That posture was not a weak woman at first glance. Sister Zitong is the vice president of our martial arts society. It's not bad to practice martial arts since childhood. Zhao Xian looked at Yi Tianxing and said with a smile, blinking, somewhat playful. This kind of playfulness will only show up in front of familiar people, and in the face of strangers. It's all a small family of Jasper, gentle and graceful. But Yi Tianxing saw it very kindly. It seems that girl Tang is the origin of family learning. Yi Tianxing nodded and nodded too much. It's better not to be a weak girl. It's true that the end of the world is coming. Being weak is not a good thing. If you are not careful, you will die. The first to die is the weak. What remains is the strong. Wu family heirloom in the family, regardless of men and women, have learned martial arts since childhood. Even if they are not refined, they must be rough. Ears and ears have also learned some fur. Tang Zidong answered with a smile. Brother, what weapon would you choose to carry with you? Zhao Xian looked at Yi Tianxing and asked curiously. Bu Xiao, there are a lot of weapons here. This compound folding bow is specially set by me. I used to hunt on the grassland with some friends before. Although I can say that I am proficient, I can still shoot bows and arrows. At least I will not miss the target. This folding bow as I bought it for myself. Also, there are a large number of special steel arrows in the box, which can be recycled repeatedly. It is more practical than a firearm. Quote. Yi Tianxing looked at the folding bow in front of him and patted him. This bow and arrow was set by him, saying that it is rough, but in fact modest. He has congenital yin and yang eyes. Although he has not developed much ability now, his vision is far better than ordinary. A person can clearly see the distance of 1 or 2 miles if he wants to, plus he has practiced Taijiquan before. The muscles and bones are extremely strong. It seems that there is not much muscle on the body, which is not as good as those bodybuilding coaches, but the strength in the muscles is much stronger than them. Inside the body is strength. Even if you haven't practiced the Yulong Tian Jing before, you can have a huge force of 500 kilograms. When it broke out, it was more than that. And this folding bow is made of the best materials, not only the toughness and rigidity of the bow body or top, but also the bow string is also made of special materials. It is impossible to pull the arm without the strength of 300 or 400 pounds. Do it. In ancient times, it was 3 or 4 stone bows. For Yi Tianxing, such a folding bow is just right for his strength. Now practicing the Dragon Heaven Classic, again, the pulse is even longer. The return force is faster than before. Using folding bows is not a problem at all. No obstacles. There is also this stainless steel spear. The spear is the predecessor of the spear in the halberd. It is almost the same when used, and it is almost the same. If it is not difficult to make a war halberd, it is also good to use a war halberd. It is 1 inch long, 1 inch strong. I don't know what the enemy is facing, it is more suitable to choose a long weapon. Quote. Yi Yishanxing picked up a bronze war spear made of special alloy. It looks quaint. The texture is intentionally engraved on it. The engraved birds are all strange birds, and no one can tell what they mean. Xian Day anyway, it seems very mysterious. Zon, this war spear is very heavy, weighing a few tens of pounds. Ordinary people don't say it's dancing, it will look a little hard to pick up, let alone hold it to kill the enemy. He can only be picked up by such a powerful man as Yi Tianxing, even a monk who has already set foot on the path of cultivation. Moreover, I didn't feel strenuous, but not light, just right. But it is conceivable that one spear can really smash the wall and directly pierce the adult man. Is definitely a terrible killer. After choosing weapons, Zhao had eaten together. Zhao Ziyan also took Tang Zidong into her boudoir, and did not choose another room. The two were ready to sleep together, just to chat and have a companion. Yi Yixing also returned to his room. He didn't think much about it. He sat directly on the bed, and secretly thought about the 4C ancestral dragon pictures, in the Royal Dragon Heavenly Scriptures. This imagination makes the open sea of gods like an ancestral dragon dormant and open-mouthed to breathe the vitality of the heavens and the earth. Once opened, Shanhai naturally creates a mysterious connection with the outside world. Into the Shanhai. Unfortunately, the vitality in the outside world is too thin, so thin that it can hardly be sensed. I want to cultivate it's so difficult. However, Bingzhan can add a little bit more, the principle of dripping through the stone still has not relaxed. Time passes by a little bit. Unconsciously, the time has reached September 23, 2019. Yu Reading Books www.yuakanshu.com. Rumble. While many people were still sleeping, a huge thunder suddenly came from the void, and that thunder sounded as if numerous bombs had suddenly exploded. In the streets and innumerable roads, countless cars issued sharp and screaming alarms. Some cars jumped straight from the ground. Many people feel tinnitus. I can imagine how loud the thunder was. Moreover, instead of covering one city and one province, it directly covers the entire country and even the entire world. This terrible thunder can be heard at any time and in any place. He seems to be the roar of God. Many people yelled and scolded, waking up from the bed. What's the matter? Is there such a thunderous thunder? Is it going to rain heavily? Damn, it's time to close your clothes. Thunderous thunder, I have never heard such a thunder, like the earthquake, almost scared me to death, I thought the building collapsed. Various muttering curses continued to sound. Brother, what's going on? Zhao Ziyan has come out with Tang Zidong. Ji Yishanxing has already appeared in the lobby, walking towards the balcony. If there is nothing wrong with my dream, this is a sign of apocalyptic catastrophe. The cataclysm has already begun. Take a good look, maybe you can only see it once in your life. Yi Tianxing took a deep breath and said slowly. When he heard this thunder, he heard it for the second time. At the beginning, he was also awakened by this thunder, and was also at a loss and unable to adapt. But then came the real cataclysm, and a world bound to despair. Yu Reading readers are welcome to come and read. The latest, fastest and hottest serial works are in Yu Reading. Mobile users please read. Chapter 7, Monster Advent. For collection recommendation, there are 2 tickets with tickets. Close black lens bracket. Zhao Ziyan and Tang Zidong heard that their faces changed. Although I said that I believe in Yi Tianxing, dreams are only dreams after all, they are false and not real, the chance of them happening is very small, and they may not happen at all. The cataclysm of the last days is really terrible. No one will easily believe. But this extraordinary thunder now makes them subconsciously start to believe. Xin Qing, that mood is very complicated. I came to the balcony together. Standing on the balcony, you can see that there is already chaos outside. Although it is early in the morning, there are a lot of people who get up early. They move around outside, but now, they are all scared. The thunder blast was too sudden and too loud. Many people were ruptured by Jen's ears and bleed in 7 holes. There was only that terrible roar in my mind. Help, hit 120, I can't hear my ears. The ***** morning trainer in 7 holes screamed. How come this kind of thing, what kind of ghost is this, there will be no master to cross the robbery. There is a otaku shouting. In the modern era of peace, where this kind of thing happened, once it happened, the panic that occurred can be imagined. One by one, like the headless flies, they were panicked and difficult to control themselves. But this is just the beginning. This is just the beginning. The cataclysm is about to begin. Yi Tianxing stood on the balcony and looked at the chaotic scene below, but just shook his head slightly. This scene, I have seen it before, now I see it, and no too much surprise, compared to the cataclysm, this is nothing more than pediatrics, just appetizers. I have seen more shocking, and naturally there is not much surprise about what is in front of me. I just stared at the void. Click, I was a terrible tear again. If someone looks up into the sky, they will see it immediately. I was in the void, suddenly under a force of invisible force, forcibly cracked a number of cracks, these cracks, large and small, dense, spread throughout the void, covering the sky. As if the entire sky is broken like porcelain, there are numerous cracks. That picture is terrible, like heaven. Looking down the cracks, you can see that what appeared in the cracks was not nothingness, but a dark scene, as if leading to the bottomless abyss, each one was extremely deep and bottomless. It seems to be connected to an endless abyss somewhere, deep and terrifying. Brother, what's that? Zhao Ziyan held back her inner fear, grabbed Yi Tianxing's arm, and asked with trembling. I don't know, but according to what I have learned in the dream, the end of this crack is definitely not a good place. There will be terrible monsters. Those monsters can't be counted. Yi Tianxing took a deep breath, eyes full, said solemnly. Sure enough, the voice just dropped. The whole world is in a kind of miserable shock, and has not returned from this terrible sight. Immediately, he saw countless monsters erupting from these cracks. Like rivers of terrible monsters. At a glance, the scalp is numb, and those with a weaker psychological quality will be fainted. Green monster, goblin, skeleton soldier, wolves, beasts. Zhao Ziyan and Tang Zidong looked at the various monsters erupting continuously from the cracks, and could not help exclaiming, some of these monsters they had seen. It seems that various monsters in people's imagination, monsters in the game, etc., but all of them have become alive, and they are falling rapidly around the world. There are so many maggots that it is unimaginable and difficult to estimate. Same as dumplings. Toward the city, to the suburbs, to the wilderness, etc., there is almost no dead end, covering all over the world. Almost all of these monsters are familiar, not all kinds of monsters in the game, are people's imagination, legendary monsters and beasts, even zombies, all fall from the cracks to the earth. There are not a few in the cities that have been ridiculed. The streets that seemed a little empty in the early morning suddenly had a large number of monsters. There were zombies walking around. It was not fast, but when they smelled the smell of fresh flesh, they were immediately frightened and pale. Ordinary people who were completely losing rushed over. Zombie rushed to the person and bit his mouth open. Some people were torn to pieces in the screams. There are green-skinned monsters that are less than 1 meter tall, holding a wooden stick, which knocks an adult's head apart, just like a watermelon with a scoop. A skeleton soldier carried a bone knife and ran fast, splitting an old lady who was out shopping for food in half with a single knife. There were zombies wearing Qing Dynasty official clothes, bouncing to catch up with pedestrians, grabbing a woman, biting her mouth around her neck, and sucking blood. The blue-faced fangs are terrifying. There was also a ferocious beast running across the streets, a half-human wolf full of heights. When he rushed over, an adult was called on the spot, biting his neck and squirting blood in his throat. The whole city was bloody. Zombies, monsters, unsatisfied, invaded the high-rise buildings in the past. The **** smell completely inspired their killing. Screams, cries of fear, and gunfire kept ringing. Intertwined, directly rendering a doomsday tragedy. In the peaceful era, where can you imagine that the previous moment was also the peace period, the next second will become a doomsday calamity. Without the slightest sense of crisis, you will be killed directly. Worldwide, it is unknown how many people died directly. I followed the flock of wolves into the flock, and the sight was already predictable. It's miserable, brother, is this really the end of the world? Zhao Ziyan's face was pale, her lips were pale and she asked, her subconscious still couldn't believe it. It is now apocalyptic, and there is no longer any doubt. This is a disaster for the entire human race, a disaster for the entire human civilization. I don't know how many people will die in it. No one can save them, it's the only one who can save them. So are we, quote. Yi Tianxing took a deep breath, a flash of firmness flashed in his eyes, and said categorically, Tian Xingjian, a gentleman is constantly striving for self-reliance. Self-reliance is the kingly way. In the last days, trusting hope in others is trying to die. Quote. What do we do now? Tang Zidong, despite shock, still forced himself to calm down and asked Yi Tianxing. Go out and kill the monster. Yi Tianxing said firmly. I glanced at the void, and you can see that in those cracks, not only gushing monsters, but also a strange light of God falling in all directions like a shooting star. It's dense and countless. But Yi Tianxing's innate yin and yang eyes saw that several streams of light fell directly in the city and outside the suburbs. Treasures are wrapped in these streamers. This point, Yi Tianxing is very clear. Before that, I was hit by one of the streamers and was directly killed, and returned 3 days ago. You also get the practice methods such as, Yu Long Tian Jing. I can guess that the hidden treasures contained in them are definitely top-notch. Once obtained, you can immediately reverse your destiny and achieve extraordinary opportunities. You must find ways to get as many of these treasures as possible, and each one may bring endless benefits. The more you get, the greater the possibility of survival in the future. Yi Tianxing secretly thought in his mind. The congenital yin and yang eyes are also working to the extreme. The true dragon chi condensed in the body after opening up the Sea of God is also poured into the yin and yang eyes for the first time, urging the yin and yang ***** map, and turning the eyes to the extreme. As far as possible, the location of the falling meteor was imprinted on my mind. The greatest possible guarantee is to find these strange treasures the first time. Brother, I'll go together. Although Zhao Ziyan was still afraid in her heart, she said, she didn't want Yi Tianxing to go alone, and she would do more with one more person. Well, neither of us is powerless. I have also practiced martial arts. With these weapons, I can protect myself in the future. Tang Zidong nodded in agreement. I am also eager to go outside. Ji Yishanxing is right. In the last days, only one's own strength is the real reliance. The others are all false. In this regard, Tang Zidong is also deeply touched. Yu reading books www.yuakanshu.com. You stay here temporarily, but there are a lot of materials stored here. If someone finds out, I am afraid that something will happen and cause greed. In the last days, people's hearts are changeable, and no one knows what will happen. I will go on to look at the strength of those monsters. You are here, I won't come back. No matter who knocks on the door, don't open it. These materials are the foundation of life in the last days. Quote. Yi Tianxing did not promise their immediate hunting and killing of monsters. No one was watching, no one knew what would happen. The supplies here were fundamental to survival. Okay, Brother Yi, you have to be careful, if you are in danger, come back quickly. After Tang Zidong heard it, he groaned and decisively agreed. The supplies here are really important and the foundation of real life. Moreover, she is also confident that with her ability, it should not be a problem to hold here. Besides, no one knows that there will be such a large amount of supplies here. I didn't hesitate. He carried a compound folding bow, took a pot of arrows, carried a tang knife on his back, and carried a steel war spear in his hand. Others did not take more, but the weight of these things, an adult has to work hard to pick up, but Yi Tianxing picked up just right. After starting to cultivate, these weights will not affect the combat power. After getting his weapon in hand, he immediately walked out of the door. Tang Zidong, they all closed the door quickly and locked as instructed. Great disaster, great opportunities. The light flickered in the eyes of Yi Yixing, all the way downstairs. The thick, **** smell keeps coming in and is very pungent. Most people smell it and immediately vomit. Yu reading readers are welcome to come and read. The latest, fastest and hottest serial works are in Yu reading. Mobile users please read. Chapter 8, Wish. For collection recommendations, unpack the new book list. Close black lens bracket. I just came out of the stairs, and there was a bad wind in my ear, the sound of tearing air. When Yi Tianxing heard it, he reacted instantly. The steps under his feet faltered, his body turned to one side, and he looked at the location where the evil wind struck. All he saw was that a green-skinned monster with a height of over 1 meter held of the stick was smashed towards him fiercely, and the direction he had just hit was his head. If he just avoided it, his head would be torn apart. As soon as this side turned down, the eyes that had hit the head immediately fell from Yi Tianxing. Suddenly, the green-skinned monster did not expect Yi Tianxing to respond in such a short period of time. This stick hit the air, the body immediately lost weight, and his foot was crippled. In such a situation, in the eyes of the martial arts people, all of them are flawed. Yi Tianxing has even practiced Chinese arts, and now he has officially started practicing. Where can he miss such a good opportunity? The bronze war spear was lifted in the hand, and the spear was stabbed out. The powerful force perfused on the war spear. When it broke, it gave out a strong wind-tearing sound. Appears directly in front of the greenskin monster's throat, and pierces the throat with a spear. Pulled out, the green blood spurted out, immediately fell to the ground, struggled twice, and there was no sound. The power exceeds ordinary adults, and the response is extremely fast. Ordinary people come across, without professional fighting skills, it is difficult to hunt and kill, but many people join forces, it should not be difficult to kill this green-skinned monster. Yi Yixing thought secretly that hunting monsters was also collecting information about these monsters. However, 2 or 3 ordinary people may kill a green-skinned monster. As a result, death and injury must be severe. The future of mankind can be imagined, it must be extremely bleak. What is this? Just when Yi Tianxing had just planned to move forward and continue to hunt monsters to collect some information, all of a sudden, he stopped directly and looked at the green-skinned monster that had just died in his own hands. On the monster, it was strange. A strange white light bloomed. The white light gathered on the corpse, and in a blink of an eye, it condensed into a white bead. There is thumb size. Landed on the monster body. Yi Yixing quickly took the white orb in his hands. He felt a very strange and pure power in the beads, not the vitality of heaven and earth, but seemed to be purer and better than the vitality of heaven and earth. Moreover, in the hand, there is an impulse to indulge refinery. Especially in Shanghai, there is a desire, a hunger. I hate to swallow it immediately. This bead is the power of desire, the power of faith. Yan Yixing's mind was meditating quickly. The breath emanating from the beads felt a very familiar breath, as if he had encountered it before. However, the body was shocked in the blink of an eye, an exclaimed voice in his mouth, and his eyes flashed with surprise. Power of desire, power of faith. Shangdao he thought of where he felt it, it was temples, Taoism and other places. Yi Qian because of his inherent yin and yang eyes, he has also found various temples and Taoist temples. Those idols have such strange wishing forces, but those wishing forces are somewhat complicated, not as pure as the pureness in the beads in his hands. The beads are obviously free of impurities. What's going on? How can you kill a monster, and how can the beads condensed by the incense willingness emerge? It's still so pure, there is no trace of impurities. The willingness contained in it is still so huge. Wu Yixing frowned secretly. This cataclysm did not see Duan Miao. Before he was killed in a cataclysm, he was directly killed. He didn't know this at all. Good thing, it should be a baby, put away and talk. Although I don't know what the purpose of this white wishing pearl is, it is obviously a good thing. There is an old saying, people fight for breath, Buddha fights for incense, what they fight is belief, and incense. Obviously, this wish is of great benefit to them. Such pure wish beads are even more precious. Put the white wish beads into the backpack without stopping, and continue to move forward. Every few steps, the sound of the fighting just now attracted a group of green leather monsters. There are dozens of them. When I saw Yi Tianxing, he waved a stick and made a weird cry of, "Wowa!" Put green light in your eyes. One short leg runs fast. Ordinary people saw that they were afraid to run away with scared legs on the spot. But when Yi Tianxing saw it, he showed a touch of indifference and sneered, "It's good, but I'm looking for it everywhere." Changed the bronze war spear to his left hand, and pulled out the tang sword with his right hand. Striding towards the green-skinned monsters. There was a fearless look on his body. Me, what is the momentum? Not afraid of death, there is momentum. Waving the tang sword, the green-skinned monster that ran first in the front cut off his head, and green blood spurted. The left hand didn't stop, and a green-skinned monster pierced his throat with a trembling arm, stabbing directly to death. These green-skinned monsters swarmed up in large numbers, but apparently cooperated with no rules. Yi Tianxing killed him. His left-handed war spear and his right-handed tang sword were simple and direct. As long as it can be killed, there is nothing terrible. Only a moment, the monster's body fell to the ground around Yi Tianxing. Yi Tianxing was also severely hit by a few sticks with a green skin monster's stick. Alone was deliberately avoided and landed on the back. Although very painful, it did not affect the combat effectiveness. Sure enough, every monster killed can get a white wish for speed. What the asterisk is going on? Yi Tianxing glanced around. After each green skin monster died, white light would appear on his body, and immediately condensed a white wish for speed. There are no exceptions. Yi Tianxing quickly collected these white wishing beads one by one and put them in the backpack. This is the treasure that can increase the repair, and naturally it should be treasured. A total of 23. What is this? However, after collecting the white wish beads, I saw a white light ball floating on a green-skinned dwarf. Not wishing Li Zhu, looks very eye-catching. Qi Yishanxing was curious. He stepped forward to pick up the light ball, and the light ball was broken. Suddenly, a green bone only 3 inches long appeared in the hand, and there was a bone pattern on the bone. It seemed to be full of weight. Green bone. Bone material, refinable device, inferior grade. When picking up this green bone, a message naturally passed from the bone to his mind, and he naturally understood its name, origin, and purpose. It is the skeleton of the mixer. What's going on? Has the whole world changed? Killing monsters, winning beads, and getting refining materials. Yi Tianxing was more puzzled in his heart, and secretly meditated, already guessing vaguely, only afraid of the whole world. The entire world has undergone a strange change. This is what I don't know yet. But obviously, this was brought about by the cataclysm. Roar. Yi Tianxing continued to go towards his destination. According to visual inspection, a treasure that had been seen before, should be 1 or 2 miles away from his location. However, this was a short distance in the past, but in the present, it is an insurmountable road to death. After killing the green-skinned dwarf, I just walked a short distance and immediately heard a fierce roar. A zombie wearing a Korean suit appeared suddenly, blood stains remained on his lips, his eyes were cold and bloodthirsty, and when he saw Yi Tianxing, he jumped up on the spot, and his body was stiff as iron. The corpse was full of corpses and venom. Once bitten by him, I'm afraid it will become a zombie after death. Zombies, still zombie-level zombies. Dare to come out during the day, it's almost dead. Seeing Yi Tianxing, there was a flash of light in his eyes. There are many types of zombies, most of which are buried in the ground, accepting the feng shui atmosphere, complaining about the temperature, and eventually the corpse change. At the beginning, the corpse change is the corpse, which is the lowest level. Grades are divided into walking dead, purple stiff, white stiff, green stiff, hair stiff, stiff, and boneless. The walking corpse is the lowest, just the corpse has changed, only instinct, looking for blood food. But even in this way, the walking dead is still inaccessible, as hard as iron. Difficult to deal with, ordinary people see that only the end of hunting. Kan Dao. When this zombie saw Yi Tianxing, he was immediately attracted by the strong blood on his body, and he did not hesitate to kill him. Yin and Yang lock. Yi Yixing raised a brow, and his eyes suddenly turned into black and white. Wow! With a crisp sound, Yu reads www. Yuakanshu. Com only saw that a black and white, 3 or 4 meter long iron chain shot out from his eyes instantly, like a snake, emerged out of the air, and appeared outside the zombie at an incredible speed. With a bang, it quickly wrapped around him, and the whole body was bound tightly. Boom! The zombie fell directly from the air to the ground, locked in yin and yang, and the white light was instantly magnificent. Roar! That white light contains the power of the sun and the power of yin and yang. For zombies, this is simply the direct exposure to the sun, tied by the yin and yang locks, and white smoke is emitted, as if it were a summer snowflake. Rapid ablation. In the screams, they turned into corpse water on the spot and fell directly. Zombies are the most terrifying thing. The most fearful is the power of the solstice. When the sun rises, they dare not appear. Under the sun, they will directly turn into corpse water. From yin to yang, you can change at will. There is unparalleled restraint on evil things. Wow! Yin and Yang lock returned to Yi Tianxing quickly after killing the zombies. At the same time when returning, you can see that the yin and yang lock tied directly to a soul, and that soul is the soul of that zombie. Behind him, even the soul was pulled out and caught in the eyes of congenital yin and yang. Upon entering the eyes of yin and yang, this soul was immediately refined by the yin and yang two gases, merged into the third completely elusive yin and yang lock, and turned into a black and white yin and yang ring inside, making the first knot of yin and yang lock round a part of the ring becomes a substance. But this ring has not been completely turned into a solid body. To completely transform, a soul is not enough. You reading readers are welcome to come and read. The latest, fastest and hottest serial works are in UU reading. Mobile users please read. Chapter 9, Wordless Bible. Jay Xie, these monsters also have souls. As long as there are enough souls, the power of my innate yin and yang eyes will inevitably increase, and the number of yin and yang locks will inevitably increase in a short period of time. There was a thought in Yi Yixing's mind. The reason why it is difficult for Yun Yiyang to grow rapidly and increase is that the most important thing is that there is no way to hunt ghosts and ghosts arrogantly. Over the years, only 2 yin-yang locks have condensed. But now there are monsters everywhere. These monsters also have souls in their bodies. After killing, they can completely devour the souls of these monsters and worship the yin and yang locks. The speed of such agglomeration will inevitably increase. Luo Hu, this zombie fell behind, leaving a wish ball, and a ball of light. After holding it, a zombie canine emerged from the ball of light. Zombie hounds. Refined materials, can be used to make magic weapons, can be used to make elixir, Fanji Chinese products. Brush. A green gel-like monster bounced and appeared not far away. The monster had eyes and mouths. It looked like a weird gel, like a liquid. Its walking way was bouncing. Its slime, chasing an old man. Huh. The green slime opened a mouthful of green liquid and fell on the old man. On the spot, the old man made a scream, white smoke was emitted from his body, and he was quickly corroded and his flesh ulcerated. Killed on the spot. What spurted out was a high concentration of corrosive acid. Damn, Yi Tianxing saw the old man killed with his own eyes, and couldn't help creating anger in his heart. He put the war spear around his waist, grabbed the folding bow with his backhand, took out a battle arrow, didn't look at it, and pointed at slime. It is polite to shoot at it. Huh, Jian, this arrow is as fast as lightning, and it is extremely fast. It instantly appears in front of slime. The straight hole penetrates the body, and the force contained in the arrow is also inserted into the ground with its body at the first time. Even if this is not dead, his body struggles on the ground. Yi Yixing stepped forward quickly, pulled out the Tang sword, and waved his hand to split slime in half. The yin and yang eyes flickered, and Slim's soul was forcibly drawn into the yin and yang eyes, and fast sacrifice. Adding bricks to the condensing of the third yin and yang lock. Puff puff, she immediately after shooting the slime, 3 more slimes jumped out in the distance. Yi Tianxing did not hesitate to pull the bow and shoot the arrows. The 3 sharp arrows broke through and penetrated the 3 slimes. Die instantly. In the building near Yi Tianxing, someone saw Yi Tianxing hunting down a monster from the window. Opening the curtains one by one, exclaimed. Kuei, look, someone is hunting monsters. It's great. His archery is so accurate that every arrow can hit directly. Great, who is that? Someone shouted upstairs. I have seen that green-skinned monster. Adults are not their opponents at all. A stick will be used to break bones, smash his head into pieces, and kill so many in his hands. He must have learned Wu. Quote. Some people who saw Yi Tianxing kill the green-skinned dwarf in the beginning also shouted. Those monsters seem to have something when they die. What are the white beads and those light balls? Has the outside world become the same world as the game? Some senior web readers secretly guessed. This situation is similar to the game, but there is only one life. Once killed, there is no chance of resurrection. The ****** corpse was also presented directly in front of him. Killed and eaten. No one knows what's going on, but the shadow of the end is already in my heart. Kill. Yi Tianxing didn't have time to think about other things. He didn't dare to stop at his feet and kept on advancing forward. Various monsters appeared in this street, mainly green leather dwarfs and slime. Almost all people on the street were killed. A large number of monsters began to rush into the buildings. There were screams and screams from all over the building, and the blood was strong. Many people saw him upstairs and he dared to walk outside to hunt and kill monsters, and they all shouted for help. Qi Yixing ignored it, and this situation can no longer be controlled. When the sky is healthy, the gentleman is constantly improving and not saving himself. No one can save them. Kill, kill, Kill. I was so cold in my heart that all my anger turned into strength, and I kept hunting the monsters, green dwarfs, slimes, and wild dogs and wolves that kept coming out of the dark corners. They are all very cruel, and wild dogs are as big as calves. It was very cruel to kill. He only saw that in a residential building next to him, one was wearing jeans, a pair of long legs, and holding a steel pipe in his hand. It seemed that he had been removed from somewhere in the house. Quickly ran out, followed by 3 green leather monsters. Catching up. The young girl saw Yi Tianxing and saw the body of the monster lying next to him. She immediately opened her eyes and called for help. He hurried closer towards him. Yi Tianxing didn't hesitate, quickly opened the bow and arrow, shot 3 arrows in succession, hit 3 monsters at the same time, shot through his neck and nailed to the ground. He died in a few breaths. The white light emitted once again condensed 3 wish beads. Quickly stepped forward, held these 3 wishing beads in his hands, and put them in the backpack. Mei Lizu. The young girl saw, her eyes lit up and blurted out. Who are you? You know this wishing pearl. Yi Tianxing's eyes fell on the young girl's face. Although she looked very embarrassed when she ran away, she couldn't hide her natural beauty, and she was definitely a school-level beauty. Guozi's face is no worse than Zhao Zian and Tang Zidong. Each has its advantages. My name is Chen Shiru, and I know this is the wishing bead. It is a white wishing bead condensed by various desires, and obsessions, and I also know what is happening in this world. You are Master Yi Tianxing. I know you, the girl said quickly without hesitation. Seeing the corpse of the monster lying around, I can understand the strength of the man in front of him, and the end of the world is coming. Only the strong can survive. Moreover, she really knew Yi Tianxing. I know a little about his character, and he is so powerful here, that he is going to grab this life-saving straw immediately. Express yourself. You know me. Yi Tianxing heard it, frowned slightly, glanced around, and walked forward without hesitation, at the same time commanded, follow me, talk while walking. He did not intend to stay here, looking for that one. Baby is the most important thing. I know, Master Yi exorcised demons in our school. At that time, some people in our school played pen immortals, attracted unjust souls, and killed students. The school invited you to exorcise demons. I saw you at that time. I know you have powerful abilities. Master Yi's character is also well known in the industry. Chen Shiru often exercised, practiced yoga, and was not weak. Seeing Yi Tianxing continued to move forward, he immediately said. Click. A wild dog flashed green and suddenly rushed out of a shadow, but at the moment of the rush, Yi Tianxing pulled one side of his body and hacked it out. The sharp head cut off the wild dog's head. A flash of white light, a wishing bead appeared, quickly held it in his hand, and put it in the backpack. You said you know what's happening in the world now. How could these monsters suddenly appear? Yi Tianxing kept at his feet and asked quickly in his mouth. He was also very curious about the beginning of the matter. This change is too unusual. Directly as the doomsday. When the day just changed, a lot of shengguang flew from the cracks. At that time I was standing on the balcony, and one of the shengguang smashed directly into my house. It was a book called Wushu Tianshu, a book made of white jade. The finished jade book. It records the origin of the cataclysm. I got the message that this wordless book can record all kinds of major changes between heaven and earth. Quote. Chen Shiru said without hesitation. Wordless Bible. Yi Tianxing was shocked in his heart, and it was obviously one of the first treasures to fly out of the crack. I did not expect the girl in front of me to pick one. However, there is obviously no time to look through it now. What's in it? Between Yi Tianxing's vibrating arms, he shot a few arrows again and quickly killed several green-skinned monsters. There is only one page in it. I read it and said, Heaven is changing, the mind is full of desires, the heavens cannot bear, evil thoughts are rampant, business ideas have evolved into the fantasy world, evil thoughts, good thoughts, obsessions, desires are entangled, heaven. Unable to bear it, it has reached its limit, and the extreme has changed. You reading www.ukanshu.com. Fantasies are coming, all realms are in harmony, and all things are free to compete in the sky. Quote. Shui Chen Shiru said quickly, imagination is coming, aren't all these monsters condensed by fantasy obsession? No wonder they are all fantasy monsters. No wonder they can get the beads of will if they are killed. Yi Tianxing heard that, his face could not be changed again and again, and a consciousness was born in his heart. Finally, there was a hint of the cause of the catastrophic world. In the heavens and the earth, All beings have wisdom, desire, thought, obsession, good desire, and bad evil. Especially in modern society, material desires flow, the number of human beings is increasing day by day, and various ideas are entangled endlessly. All kinds of desires come together, and eventually more and more. Moreover, the thoughts of sentient beings are the most amazing. Yi Yishanxing studied various classics of Taoism. Regarding the gods, the reason why the gods exist is because the human people imagine that they exist and believe that they exist. There was no mountain god, but the people imagined that there is a mountain in the mountain, and they could bless the hunters who came into the mountain and put their wishes in their hearts. Pray that as a sustenance of the soul, more and more of these people will spread and there will be a mountain god. Taunting thoughts can create gods. The wonder of wishing power can be imagined. In modern times, human thinking is more imaginary. Various movies, novels, endless stream, and rich spiritual world. At the same time, many people are talking about imagining whether there is such a world, which brings together thousands of ideas. Next, the will of these thoughts will evolve the corresponding world, and the thoughts of souls can create the world. You reading readers are welcome to come and read. The latest, fastest and hottest serial works are in UU reading. Mobile users please read. Chapter 10, Different Treasure. As said in the wordless book. I am afraid that heaven and earth can't bear the endless desires, can't carry them, reach the limit, and finally, oppress the sky. Countless monsters transformed by desires, come to the whole world, and create a terrible doomsday scene. There are also treasures that have been bred from countless desire fantasies. In the final analysis, this is also caused by human beings themselves. There are countless dark sins hidden in the bright and prosperous society. Eventually triggered this cataclysm. I am afraid that the disaster has reached an irreversible level. I didn't expect that. Yi Yishanxing couldn't help laughing. This disaster can also be said to be the bitter fruit of human beings. Furthermore, according to the Book of Heaven, the law of heaven has changed. Killing these monsters transformed by desire can obtain the beads of willpower. They are formed by the will of the will, even if the desire is bad. After killing death, it is equivalent to undergoing purification. All evil thoughts are broken down, leaving only the purest will. There are monsters bred from fantasy, which may condense various materials after death in the body. It might be a unique secret practice or something. It's something that exists in fantasy. Quote. Chen Shiru said again, this is the invasion of reality by fantasy, the coincidence of illusion and reality, and the law of heaven has changed. It can also be regarded as helping humans grow up to a certain extent. I hope humans can get through it. Qi Yishanxing took a deep breath, and didn't stop at his feet because of this, but he was still advancing rapidly, constantly killing those monsters. The number and strength of these monsters are not too high, and they are still at a very low level. It is a threat to ordinary people. Although it is a threat to him, it is still within the acceptance range. The uncle's hands kept killing the surrounding monsters. The bodies of each monster kept falling around, and some of the bodies were dragged away and eaten by other monsters. These monsters are real, they will not disappear if they are killed. The corpse is also real flesh. It is hard to imagine that this is a life born of fantasy. After waiting, I will be given a glance at Wushu Tianshu. Yi Tianxing said to Chen Shiru. Okay, Chen Shiru agreed without hesitation. The Wuzi Tianshu only recorded some things, and it was not a magic weapon for practicing cheats. It was of little use to her, even if it was given to Yi Tianxing. Where are we going? Chen Shiru asked. Not far away, there are treasures falling from the sky. When I saw it upstairs, I fell not far away. This time I came out, I just wanted to find a way to get it. Yi Tianxing didn't hide it, since he was with him sooner or later I will know. It doesn't matter if you say it later. There are still falling treasures here. When Chen Shiru heard, his eyes brightened, and he knew from the heavenly books that these falling treasures were certainly wonderful. It will certainly be of great use. This can be seen from the wordless book. Moreover, some strange treasures may have even more amazing effects. Every piece is priceless. If you get it, you have the chance to survive in this end time. Quickly rushed forward, a monster was constantly being killed. Yi Yixing did not stay at all, moving forward all the way. He was bathed in blood, and several wounds were added to his body, but they were not fatal. Just in front, after a short while, Yi Tianxing came to a leisure square. In the square, you can clearly see that a blue wolf is guarding a glowing light ball, and there are a large number of dead bodies around. These dead bodies are the bodies of various monsters. It has blood on its claws. Obviously it was killed by it. Guarding the light ball, it is clearly considered that light ball is its proprietary product. What a big blue wolf. Chen Shiru's face was pale and her body was shaking. The blue wolf stood up. As tall as an adult, the blue wolf hair continued to rise and fall, the fangs in his mouth flashed with cold light, and a pair of blue eyes glanced coldly around. At first glance, it can make the heart stop suddenly, and the breath emitted is directly higher than that of the green skin monster that was killed before, slime. That ball of light is a treasure. Yi Tianxing took a deep breath. Because of the blue wolf's sake, there were no monsters daring to approach, but it seemed much quieter. Master Yi, you want to kill this blue wolf? Chen Shiru wondered. If you don't kill it, you won't get any treasures. Yi Tianxing's face showed a touch of fortitude. I don't know what the treasure is in the light ball, but the monsters who died from the surroundings can also see that it is definitely a baby. It can cause monsters to compete. It is definitely not easy. The purpose of his coming is to search for different treasures, how could he give up? However, Yi Tianxing did not immediately recklessly step forward to face this huge blue wolf. Knowing oneself and knowing oneself can never be frightened. To kill it, it is necessary to understand its specific capabilities first. Wow, and just then, only to see, not far away, a group of dozens of green-skinned monsters also seemed to see the light sphere appearing on the square, and the eyes immediately gave out green light, waving the stick wow, quickly rushed over, that look, it is simply to smash the huge blue wolf directly into meat sauce, the light ball has a huge and extremely attractive to them. This group of green-skinned monsters slammed towards the blue giant wolf, one by one, yelling. Alas! The blue giant wolf saw, a flash of violent howls flashed in his eyes, and a violent howling sound was issued. Before the green-skinned monsters approached, they were culled out at first. The speed was very amazing. It seemed to be able to see a wave from outside. The cyan wind surrounds him, making his body as light as a swallow, pulling out a cyan afterimage in the air. A paw was shot on a green-skinned monster. The green-skinned monster was torn out of a cricket hole on the spot, and even the heart was crushed and crushed. Obviously he couldn't live. A green-skinned monster bit his throat and green blood spurted. The tail swayed, like an iron whip, and hit a green-skinned monster's head. I even split the green-skinned monster's head apart. One can imagine how fierce and overbearing it is. Boom. However, there are a lot of green-skinned monsters, dozens of heads rushed up, and a wooden stick smashed onto the wolf fiercely, and even a wooden stick smashed on the wolf's waist. Lie on the ground without being beaten. The wolf's waist is the biggest weakness. It's not much different from the 7 inches of snakes. Alas! The blue wolf was severely blown, and bloodthirsty light appeared in both eyes. An angry wolf howl sounded when he opened his mouth. A blue light appeared on his body, his hair trembled, and between the mouths, he could only see that a blue wind blade was beyond thunder. Covering your ears, sweeping through the air. The wind blade was very sharp. It fell on the green skin monster, and it was cut into 2 sections almost instantly. The blood viscera was scattered directly on the ground. Moreover, the power of the wind blade was very amazing. Moving forward, 5 or 6 green skin monsters were beheaded and killed together before they completely dissipated. The power contained in it can be imagined. But these green-skinned monsters seem to be completely deceived by treasures. Even the cruel wolf's brutality did not scare them away, and they still desperately rushed towards the blue wolf and proceeded. Do not underestimate the power of dozens of greenskin monsters. Good chance. Seeing Yi Tianxing, a secret rejoicing came from her heart. The monsters on both sides fight. No matter who wins or loses, they will suffer certain damage, which can better solve the monster's strength, and when these monsters fight together, the treasure does not have any monster defense at all, which is simply a shot. The best time to visit Yibao. As long as it lurks in secret, you can easily get it. You are waiting here. There is a security room here. You hide in, close the door, and no one will open it. I will get the baby in my hand, maybe I can solve the problem without fighting. Yi Tianxing pointed at not a security room in the distance, where there are no monsters nearby, is still safe, and safety can be used as a temporary hiding place. When you close the door, you see a and even open a monster. Okay, Brother Yi, go quickly and return quickly. If it is dangerous, give up and keep your life is the most important thing. Chen Shiru didn't hesitate, and he was a decisive person in his heart. Otherwise, it would not be possible for him to go directly from the building run down. After agreeing, immediately went to the security room, paying attention to the hidden body while walking. cautious, decisive, and sensible. In the last days of Yu reading, if you don't die, you will rise sooner or later. Yi Tianxing saw and nodded secretly. She has the basic conditions for survival in the last days. There are opportunities. He did not hesitate, looking at the blue wolf and the green skin monster that were still fiercely fighting. Yi Tianxing uses the surrounding flowers and trees to cover his body, and quickly lurks to the position of the light ball. 100 meters, 80 meters, 50 meters. In the blink of an eye, it shortened to a distance of 20 or 30 meters. From the light ball, it is almost only a short walk away. With just one outbreak, you can take it into your hands. It's time. Ji Yishanxing didn't hesitate, looking at the two sides who were still fighting. Those green-skinned monsters could not stand up anymore, and they were almost dead. But the damage suffered by the blue wolf was very limited. Obviously, it has little effect on it. If you delay further, you really have no chance. Immediately, I didn't even want to do it. I walked directly and grasped the ball of light without mercy. 20 and 30 meters under the full force of Yi Tianxing's full burst, it took almost 2 seconds and appeared directly in front of the light ball. Reached for the light ball. I didn't even look at it, and put the light ball in the backpack behind without hesitation. All actions are done in one go. In the blink of an eye, all the processes of capturing different treasures have been completed. Alas! But then, there was a howl of angry wolf howling in my ears, only to see that the green wolf had killed the last green skin monster directly, but when I looked back, I just saw Yi Tianxing's shot to be different take away all the processes. Yu reading readers are welcome to come and read. The latest, fastest and hottest serial works are in Yu reading. Mobile users please read. Chapter 11, Kill the Blue Wolf. Glancing at it, the anger of the blue wolf was completely ignited. Just killing with the green-skinned monster has completely inspired the killing in the body, and now I saw that the treasure he was guarding was quietly snatched away by a human, and it was taken away in its eyes and put into the backpack. In this case, the most sensitive nerve in the wolf's heart is thoroughly stirred. Angry, endless anger is rushing out. Alas! The blue wolf didn't hesitate, and opened his mouth with a gust of wind blade, bursting out like lightning, and chopped towards Yi Tianxing's unceremonious chop. Once it fell on the body, the sharp edge of the wind blade was afraid, will cut on the spot and cut in half. Instantly killed, this can be seen from the wind blade can kill several green skin monsters at once. Even if Yi Tianxing, I definitely don't dare to let the wind blade cut directly on the body. Even if the body is already wearing stab-resistant clothing, it is still useless. Under the wind blade, it will definitely be broken. Moreover, Yi Tianxing's character is definitely not a person who is allowed to be slaughtered. Now that I have taken away the treasure, I can just let it go. Good job, I may not be afraid of you. Yi Tianxing exudes a sense of warfare. With a wave of the tang knife in his hand, he chopped down straight towards the wind blade. In this knife, a trace of true dragon air was directly infused, although the true dragon air was obviously only in the shuttle between the flesh and blood cannot be poured into the tang sword. To fill the ice blade, the meridians in the body must be opened. But it also increased the strength in the arm. I cut it with a knife, as fast as lightning, and Yi Tianxing's congenital yin and yang eyes were extremely sharp, capturing the trajectory of the wind blade breaking. This knife is just intercepted on the broken trajectory of the wind blade. When, with this blow, the huge force transmitted by the wind blade made Yi Tianxing's arms startle, the tang knives were broken apart, and the bones transmitted a trace of pain, but the wind blade was also split by a knife and forcibly broken. But the figure didn't stop. I felt the tremendous power from my arm, and my foot suddenly made a mistake, stepped on Taiji step, and unloaded the power that passed down to me silently. As soon as the body turned, the bronze war spear held in his left hand pierced the blue wolf's eyes without hesitation. The piercing speed was extremely fast. After images can be seen. But the blue wolf has an amazing response, as if it has wind properties and is extremely light. After seeing the war spear waving, he immediately turned his head away, and at the same time, a tail twitched towards Yi Tianxing's waist. This tail really fell on the body and even the kidneys were broken. Yin and yang lock. Yi Tianxing saw that when he stepped on the Taiji step, his heart moved, and a ray of true dragon's air in the body naturally poured into his own congenital yin and yang eyes, quickly urging the congenital yin and yang map in his eyes, and instantly, two black and white yin and yang the chain shot out like a horse. The yin and yang locks, which are 3 or 4 meters long, are extremely flexible. When they appear, they will bind the coolness. Two yin and yang locks, one tied to two hind legs and one tied to two front legs. Limbs are bound. Even the blue wolf's agility couldn't adapt, and he fell to the ground on the spot. Although the biggest role of yin-yang lock is to target aliens such as demons and ghosts, especially aliens such as ghosts and zombies, it has more powerful restraint, but yin-yang lock is not an illusion but can freely change between illusion and reality. Even the creatures that are directed against her have powerful effects. At least, it can be turned into a rope to restrain each other. Moreover, even if separated by flesh and blood, the yin and yang locks can still cause a little shock to the soul, even restraint and suppression. If it can be used to the extreme, it can even hit the human soul directly from the body. This is the power of congenital yin and yang eyes. I said time and time soon. The blue wolf was bound by the yin and yang lock, and fell instantly. Even his tail was not able to fall on the body, he slammed heavily on the ground, planted a big heel, and did not want to think about it. Slammed the blue wolf's waist. Click. With this smash, he was so powerful that he landed on the lower back and made a sound of bone fracture directly. Alas! The howling blue wolf made a painful howl and slammed heavily on the ground. The wolf's waist is a fatal weakness. This smashing is almost half the life of the blue wolf. All the power is completely destroyed. Immediately, Tang Dao had penetrated into the wolf's throat like lightning. The throat was cut open, blood squirted wildly, and the blue wolf made a mournful sound, struggling violently, but it only allowed the speed of death to continue to accelerate. Yi all of this, from the beginning of the fight, is just a few breaths, directly divided into births and deaths, determine the outcome. Every moment is almost dangerous, and if you are not careful, the situation will be instantly reversed. Yi also has inherent congenital yin and yang eyes. Nowadays, it is even on the road to practice. At the moment when Shanhai is opened, the body's qi and blood warm the body, making the flesh and blood stronger. Beyond ordinary people, there is also calmness and courage beyond ordinary people, in control of the war situation, killing the blue wolf. Howling, the wave of yin and yang locks directly pulled out the souls of the monsters dying in the squares around them, and tied them to the yin and yang locks, even the wolf's soul was no exception. In a string, there are hundreds of souls quickly pulling into the eyes of yin and yang. As soon as he entered, he was quickly absorbed and refined by congenital yin and yang eyes, and turned into yin and yang rings. In a blink of an eye, the third yin-yang lock has been thoroughly condensed. A total of yin and yang rings are condensed into a complete yin and yang ring. Each yin and yang ring needs a different soul, but the souls of these monsters are not much worse than some fierce ghosts, allowing the yin and yang ring to condense faster. Faster and more efficient, especially the wolf soul of the blue wolf is even more amazing in quality. Let the yin and yang lock not only condense the third one, but even the fourth yin and yang lock also have two yin and yang rings condensed into substance. Each additional yin and yang lock means that the power of congenital yin and yang eyes becomes more powerful. This is a bumper harvest. Yi Yishanxing glanced at the square, and couldn't help showing a touch of joy in his eyes. There were no less than hundreds of monsters killed by the blue wolf before, and a snow-white wish ball appeared on the body of each monster. In addition, several light **** emerged from the monster's body. Obviously, there are some treasures. Especially the blue wolf. After dying, a bronze-colored bead condensed. The size of the bead was the same as that of the white wishing beads, but it was more sedimentary than the white wishing beads. Moreover, Yi Tianxing can feel a strong and pure desire 10 times stronger than the white wish force beads in it. Brother Yi, this is a bronze wish bead. It is a higher level wish bead than a white wish bead. The pure wish contained in it can be more than 100 white wish beads. Chen Shiru immediately after seeing that the blue wolf was killed by Yi Tianxing, he walked out of the security room and came to the side. After seeing the bronze wishing bead, he immediately explained. These are recorded in the Wushu Tianshu. Wu Zi Tianshu is very wonderful. It does not have the ability to attack, but it can scan and identify various items. As long as it appears within a certain range, it will be recorded in Wu Zi Tianshu. When Chen Zan saw the bronze wish pearl, Chen Shiru opened the wordless book and got the message. Good thing, there are indeed higher quality wish beads. Yi Tianxing heard it, and couldn't help revealing the joy, and put it into the backpack carefully. What is this? Yi Tianxing looked again at the light ball emerging from the blue wolf and killed it. There could be more than one light ball condensed. In addition to the bronze wish beads, there were 2 light balls. One of them contains a cyan crystal, and the other contains wolf teeth. Several sharp wolf teeth. At first glance it looks very daunting. These things are not ordinary at first glance. However, now is not the time to delve into it. The previous killings have begun to attract other monsters, and staying here is definitely not a wise move. Yi Yixing quickly put all the items into the backpack, so that the backpack began to bulge. Go to the second place. I remember that there is another treasure that is not far from here. It won't be long before here. Yi Tianxing didn't think of returning directly. Since I came out, I didn't plan to go back easily. At least we must grasp the critical moment that has just begun, do everything possible to grow, complete the accumulation of the previous period, and even get some important information about the disaster on the end. Wherever possible, Yu reading must get more exotic treasures. This time, the exotic treasures flying out of the cracks are all based on the fantasy of countless human beings, born of desire. It may be a treasure in the movie, it may be various exercises in the novel, or even a magic weapon. The more you find, the better. Quote. Chen Shiru also agreed. I have read Wushu Tianshu, and she knows that the meaning of these strange treasures is definitely an incomparable effect on her future survival and even strengthening. As long as you have a chance, you can't let go of anything. Well, go, follow me. If you can't keep up, I will not care about you. People, rely on yourself. Yi Tianxing said decisively. Only by working hard can we have the chance to survive, and others will not give it for free. Putting hope entirely on others can only be said to be naive. Shui when Chen Shiru heard it, his face changed, and his heart felt deeply. I saw Yi Tianxing walking forward again and immediately followed closely. As a dead wood-like poisonous snake passed by Yi Tianxing, it bounced up instantly, and bit it politely towards the thigh. If it is bitten, it will immediately fall to the ground with snake venom. Look for death. Ji Yixinxing's vigilance has never been relaxed. Almost immediately when the poisonous snake moved, the footwork was wrong, and his backhand was split out with a knife. The tang knife draws a perfect arc. Cut directly at the 7 inches of the viper, killing 2 swords. Killed on the spot. After dying, 2 things were left behind, a white wish bead and a ball of light. Inside the ball of light seemed a dark poisonous sac. Yu reading readers are welcome to come and read. The latest, fastest and hottest serial works are in Yu reading. Mobile users please read. Chapter 12. Excuse. Open black lens bracket for collection recommendation. Close black lens bracket. Yi Tianxing didn't have time to look at it. As long as it was derived from the monsters, all of them were put in the backpack without mercy. Now it is not the time to look at it. I plan to wait until I return home to look carefully. Ah, help, there are monsters. Who will save me? The police, the army. Boo how, no, block the door. The monster is coming in. Take a kitchen knife and find a fire axe. Who's here to save us? Call. Why is there no signal on the phone, and it can't be reached? There is no signal at all. What to do? The monster is going upstairs. Lu sang on various floors. There were various panic shouts, terrifying fears, and seemingly chaotic. At the beginning of the Great Change, they came from a peaceful era. There was no psychological preparation for these. Despair, fear, covering the soul. After the monsters completely killed the humans on the streets and alleys, they entered the buildings without hesitation. That picture, every scene was ***** and shocking. Some people who saw Yi Tianxing savagely hunted monsters opened their mouths and shouted. In this regard, Yi Tianxing did not pay much attention. Now is not the time to save people. Don't hurry up to make time as strong as possible. Now to save people, the next moment is to die by myself. This kind of thing Yi Tianxing has seen too much. The human heart is changeable, and it is just at the end of the cataclysm. The danger of the human heart is simply unpredictable. Who knows what will happen? He is not a saint, and he has been working hard in the society for a long time. Moreover, he is doing a spiritual business. He sees the crickets and the filthy hidden in the light. It should not be too much. Becoming darker and more scary. Isn't these people saved? Chen Shiru said unbearably. Can't save. Yi Tianxing glanced at the man who was calling for help along the window. A steadfast expression appeared on his face, and said slowly. The stomping footwork continues. Continue to rush to the spot where the strange treasure fell before. Also, the speed is not slow. Along the way, as long as you encounter monsters, you will not hesitate to shoot and kill, and you will get a lot of wish beads. These are babes. Sui ran. Although these monsters are terrible, none of them seem to be very powerful and large in number. However, in front of Yi Tianxing, they still cannot pose too much threat, and they are forcefully pushed past. I unknowingly arrived at a crossroads. The ground is cracked. Is it a meteorite impact? As soon as Chen Shiru approached, he saw a crack like a spider's web on the ground around him. It looked dense and dense. The ground was sunken downwards, the asphalt surface was completely broken, and the original crossroads. The maggot collapsed directly. In the center of that big pit, there is a light ball flickering, and the emitted light has a strong attraction. In the pit, you can see that a large number of monsters slaughtered together looked very bloody, green-skinned monsters, and a huge group of gigantic wolves showing fangs, all showing fierce light, and a cricket bug after culling. The worms did not know how many times they had been put. At first glance, people endless fear. Magnified hundreds or thousands of times. Fight various monsters and kill them very bloody. A large number of dead bodies were scattered around the pit. Blood stained the ground. Zenmi, what to do? There are too many of these monsters, and there are monsters coming. That strange treasure is in the pit, there is no cover to hide, we can't approach. Chen Shiru said hesitatingly. Jane is full of monsters near the pothole, and Yi Bao is obviously inside. Also, it is the target of those monsters. It is almost impossible to get silently close. It's difficult to get closer, my arrow can't kill all the monsters. Yi Tianxing couldn't help frowning secretly. This situation was really troublesome. Once trapped, I am afraid that with his ability, he will die a lifetime. The chances of leaving alive are absolutely slim. However, there is a strong unwillingness to let him give up the treasure that is already in front of him and leave so dimly. What should we do? Or we should leave first and wait a while to see if there is any chance. Chen Shiru said. It can only be this way, first kill the monsters nearby and see the situation before making a decision. Just give up like this. Yi Tianxing is still a little reconciled, ready to look at the situation first. See if you can think of a way to seize different treasures. No, look at it, what's that? When Chen Shiru was about to leave, he suddenly exclaimed. Ji Yishanxing immediately fixed his eyes, and this look was also startled. So heavy Yin, whispered subconsciously. Squint pupil is also a sharp contraction. I could not help breaking into a thin slit. He only saw that in a huge pothole, a layer of black gas and gray suddenly appeared, and it looked very cold. The monsters in the pothole felt the sound of panic. The jackal ran away with its tail in its arms. But their speed cannot compare with that of black gas at all. Instantly covered with black gas. Each monster struggled and fell into the pit, and the surface was directly frozen into purple, and each one died on the spot. That's Yin. What is Yin? Chen Shiru inquired softly. Like what you think, heaven and earth are divided into Yin and Yang, and dwellings in the Yang are ghosts, while the Yin is a ghost. If the Yin is touched by a living person, even if it is not dead, it will be seriously ill. In the Yin, it is easy to breed ghosts and ghosts. Ghost chi is emitted, and it is extremely cold. Once the chi is too heavy, it will not be suitable for living beings nearby, and people should not enter. Such a heavy chi cannot bear even those monsters. Its history must be no small matter. Quote. Qi Yi Tianxing took a deep breath and quickly said. In the world, he also walked between many spiritual beings, hunting fierce ghosts, and not knowing how many spiritual incidents were resolved. He also had some guesses about some secrets between heaven and earth. According to the heavy circumstances, there is a ghost reincarnation place in heaven and earth. This point can be proved from the soul. But Netherland Mansion seems to have been empty for a long time, no ghosts, no judges, no 10 halls Yan Luo. It seems to just follow the will of heaven and earth and run on its own. This is the reason why ghosts and gods don't show up. It is even more impossible to enter the Nether Earth Mansion, and Yi Tianxing is even more inaccessible. But there must be reincarnation. Brush brush. The radon erupted with black gas, covering the entire pothole. Let the potholes be isolated from the outside world at once, 2 worlds in different spaces. Followed closely the picture that appeared, but made Wu Emu's entire hairs upright. I only saw the appearance of a cunning soldier wearing a black armor and holding a weapon. Thousands of people were swept out of the shadow, as if it were an elite army, and there was also a clear handheld restraint. Soul Cable, ghosts in black robes, one by one shrouded in black robes, looking cold and expressionless. Followed by the Yin soldier. He didn't stop in the pothole and swept straight forward. Countless ghosts scattered. Immediately, on the cords in their hands, a bunch of ghosts had been bound, coming from all directions, pulling and following in the army of the Yin soldiers, and moving forward. Even a carriage came on the way. On the carriage, a large number of ghosts were piled up, but they looked very shameless. Arms and legs were commonplace, and even those with no head were not a minority, even broken limbs. Look, get up and be eaten by monsters, the soul is miserable. They piled up on the carriage like dead bodies and were pulled away. Those are human souls who died in the hands of monsters. Where are they going to be taken? Chen Shiru almost screamed, quickly reached out to cover her mouth, and her body was shaking. Ordinary people are bold enough to see this scene without being scared to death. Chen Shiru would have been scared on the spot if he hadn't experienced the monster falling from the sky and the cataclysm. This should be the legendary Yin soldier's transit. The spirit taken away should enter the land, enter the nether, and be able to enter the underworld after death. It may not be a good thing. Yi Tianxing took a deep breath and said slowly. This situation excuses the legendary Yin soldier. According to legend, the underworld soldiers will not enter the world under normal circumstances, unless a major event occurs, there is a war in the underworld, it is necessary to transit through the world, or there is a major change in the world, there is a serious disaster, and there are countless deaths, there will be incidents of yin-yin transit. Yu Kanshu. What ghosts are mixed in it is obviously taking away a large number of dead souls who have just died. Zan Yin soldiers excuse, don't let anyone come in. Don't move. Don't speak out, don't startle the Yin soldiers, and talk after they leave. Wu Yishanxing said slowly, his eyes continued to shine with light. Seeing that the army of invaders swept continuously out of the pothole, under the black gas shroud, one can hardly tell how many there are. In short, it is quite huge, and the speed of the Yin soldiers is also very fast. After Shuan continued for a while, the ghost soldiers that emerged from the pothole disappeared. The layers of Yin are slowly quieting. But still not completely dissipated. Have the Yin soldier gone? Chen Shiru's white face was afraid. I am a woman in the end, and it is quite good to keep my mind in the face of the legendary Yin soldier. Yin soldiers usually don't hurt ordinary people by taking the road, but they can protect themselves by retreating on their own, but the Yin of the soldiers is too heavy. When they go back, they must make up for it. Those with poor constitutions will be seriously ill, and those with strong constitutions will also enter the body and cause discomfort. Quote. Yi Yishanxing looked at Chen Shiru's pale face and said. This yin naturally has no effect on him. As soon as he gets closer, he will be directly absorbed by the congenital yin and yang eyes. Brush. Shui Chen Shiru is obviously already in the body, even if it is only the external body, it has already affected it. Of course, there is Yi Tianxing, and this yin is not a big deal. Yu reading readers are welcome to come and read. The latest, fastest and hottest serial works are in Yu reading. Mobile users please read. Chapter 13, One Windfall. Yi Xing's yin and yang eyes moved, and instantly, a ray of yin had been forcibly taken from Chen Shiru's body. Submerged into the eyes of yin and yang. It's so cold, Shui Chen Shiru felt that her body froze in an instant. The coldness was too terrible. It was like 6 volts into the cold winter, and the chill caused her to shiver. However, this chill is also rapidly peeling off. She can see that Yi Tianxing's eyes are strangely black and white, and the pupils have endless appeal. It seems that she can see a strange black and white yin-yang picture inside. In a blink of an eye, the chill of the whole body was swept away, completely gone. The pale face also gradually became rosy. Well, the yin in your body has been removed by me, and it will have no effect. I'm going to take a look in the pit, you don't have to walk away. Yi Tianxing saw Chen Shiru's recovered complexion, a little the head said. His congenital yin and yang eye, if it is said in the destiny, is the destiny. The destiny that was previously awakened can be excited by itself without the need of cultivation, and it can exert its power without reaching the level of destiny. Strength, this can also be said to be innate magical powers. Before the original cataclysm, it was called a power in modern society. Those who are abilities are those who ignite the life of the body, there are acquired arousal and congenital awakening. Innate awakening is like Yi Tianxing. The congenital yin and yang eyes are awakened as soon as they are born, and the acquired stimulus is a certain age in the day after tomorrow, or is stimulated by some kind of stimulus. Without exception, it is in this body that it can be excited and awakened. Most people do not have these destinies in their bodies. They need to be cultivated through acquired skills in order to condense with unique methods. This is magical power, which is magic, Taoism, magic, witchcraft. There is a way to awaken life, to be stimulated, or even to eat genius and divine treasure. As long as there is life in the body, it may be stimulated and awakened. Can control fire, thunder, etc. This is talent. Yi Tianxing has cultivated the congenital yin and yang eyes to a certain level, and the condensed yin and yang locks have continued to increase, and the power of yin and yang eyes has continued to increase and change. Yi Yixianxing can be sure that in the whole world, there are not a small number of abilities, there are countries, and there are people. He had previously witnessed a power practicing showcasing a blade against a fire-controlling power. Hit fiercely. Alas, these are the last words. Qi Yixianxing didn't hesitate and rushed to the place where the pothole was. Xie Yinbing excuses to let the monsters around him die completely, all of them have fallen, the corpses are scattered on the ground, all the surrounding monsters, fierce beasts have all retreated, this moment is the best opportunity, there is no monster blocking at all. Yi Tianxing's speed is fast. Directly play the speed of 100 meters sprint. In just a few breaths he had rushed into the deep pit. There were corpses everywhere inside. Also, a wish bead emerged on the body, white and cyan. There are also light spheres, which contain various items in the light spheres. However, for these things, Yi Tianxing didn't stop at all. His goal was always on that strange treasure, and the strange soldier and the yin soldier did not take it away. Even in the black gloom, bursts of treasure light are emitted, clearly visible. Brush quickly came to the light ball containing the strange treasure, held it in his hand without hesitation, and stuffed it directly into the backpack behind him. The second strange treasure is at hand. Suddenly Yi Tianxing's heart was certain that this second piece of exotic treasure was already in hand. The goal of this time has been achieved, and then continue, it is an additional gain. It looks like we will make a fortune this time. Looking at the corpses of monsters scattered on the ground, Yi Tianxing felt a joy in his heart. It was a huge fortune to get so many willing beads without killing himself. He didn't know how long it would take. Time can do it. Immediately, he did not hesitate to pick up all the beads of hope and even the asterisk of light quickly. This is a fortune of bye-bye. There is no such thing as Qi Yixianxing to calculate, just pick it up when you encounter it, and take it when you see it. There is even a harvest-like joy in my heart. Go, let's go back. After picking up all the treasures at the fastest speed, without hesitation, he returned to the original place and said to Chen Shiru. It is good. Chen Shiru agreed without hesitation. In this case, there are tragedies everywhere, monsters everywhere, and it is safest to follow Yi Tianxing. How can she not give up this life-saving straw when she has a chance? Yeah, wow. The two returned quickly. Some monsters along the way, as long as they were not too many, were beheaded by Yi Tianxing without mercy. They were neat and clean, and even the soul was not pulled out in particular. Turned into a part of the yin and yang lock. But in the middle of it, a harsh crow came in midair. The cry, jerky and unpleasant, made people feel cold, and even their emotions became quite manic. Xiao Xin, be careful, hide. Yi Yixing was shocked in her heart, and a little irritability was born in her heart. However, a strong sense of crisis appeared in her heart, and she didn't want to. She pulled Chen Shiru and hid at the foot of a nearby wall. I looked up at the sky. He only saw a huge crow appearing over the city like a dark cloud. Crow, how could a crow be so big? Chen Shiru covered her mouth in horror, shouting differently. The crows are all as big as a penguin, with their wings wide, 3 or 4 meters in size, feathers and black, and their eyes are cold and ruthless. The crows looked at each other, not knowing how many, densely packed. Like dark clouds, cover the sky and clear the sun. All light is covered in a flash. What? Walking on the street, a man was running wild with 8 or 9 wild wolves behind him. The wolf is as terrifying as the calf. But when running, it caught the attention of the crows instantly. There were 2 dark lights flashing in the eyes of a crow, and then the man screamed, and his body fell directly to the ground. No more vital signs. The crows swallow the soul. This is the hawk, the dead hawk. But Yi Tianxing can see that at the moment of the man's death, his soul was pulled out by an invisible force, flew towards the crow, and was swallowed up, just like delicious food. Can't get rid of. Alas. The wild wolves saw the crow and made a howling wolverine, one by one with their tails about to run away. But among the crows, the light in the eyes of several crows flashed again, and a wild wolf fell to the ground stiffly. A lot of wolf souls were also swallowed. Pupil surgery, swallow the soul. This crow, according to ancient records, is the legendary death hare that represents death. That pupil technique is the stare of death, being glanced at, for fear of being unable to resist, you will die. The horrible thing of the puppet crow will only appear at the moment of the great disaster and the most intense resentment. Devour the soul, absorb the dead air. Once encountered, it is almost dead. One is pretty scary, not to mention a group. Shangbai compared with Hades, those green-skinned monsters, those beasts and fierce beasts are simply worthless. I was indeed a cataclysm, and even Crow appeared. I still don't know how many horrible creatures will be born. What now? Chen Shiru's face showed fear. She also saw the weirdness of the crows. In front of them, she didn't even know how to die, it was too scary. Wait, definitely can't go out. Once discovered by the crow, even I will die for a lifetime, these crows should not stay for too long. Yi Tianxing can only make such a choice. He provoked the crow, he doesn't think he has such ability and qualification now. This group of ghost crows didn't seem to intend to stay in the city for too long. Just for a moment, in the sound of an unpleasant crow, they flew high and flew up into the air. Fly into the distance. Before they appear to leave. Although the time is not long, the whole city, the sound of killing everywhere came to a sudden silence. It seems that even the monsters are afraid of the attention of the wicked crow, and they have stopped the killing. I trembled under the crow's air machine. Follow me and hurry up. Qi Yishanxing took a deep breath, and without hesitation, ran quickly towards his place. While those monsters were still deterred by the ravens, they returned home as quickly as possible. Shui Chen Shiru didn't hesitate and ran quickly behind Yi Tianxing. Although the ***** smell from the corpses around her made her a little sick, Yu reads. I was shocked along the way. Ji Yishanxing and the two have already come downstairs of the high-end residential area where they live. There is blood. Chen Shiru's face was pale, and he ran down for a while, and he couldn't help gasping in his mouth. A fine sweat bead covered his forehead and cheek. On the stairs, you can see several bodies lying on the ground, and they have become dilapidated. A wolf was tearing at the corpse, swallowing flesh and blood. Alas! I noticed Yi Tianxing's arrival and immediately uttered a whistle. Squat, hold the knife in his head, and wave forward. Wow! The sharp-edged tang knife had opened the wolf's belly in response, and the blood viscera was scattered to the ground instantly, sobbing and dying on the spot. It seems that some monsters have begun to break into the residential building. Be careful, follow me, and don't leave my sight. Cut off the wolf's head with a sword, put a wish bead away, and stayed in the direction. The stairs climbed up. Some houses keep security doors closed. Some of the doors have been opened, and there is a ***** smell coming out. Alas, these did not stop Yi Tianxing from stopping. Instead, he rushed towards his own home. He was afraid that his sister at home would be in danger, and the attitude of return was already impatient. After a short while, I have already come outside the house. It's okay. Yi Yixing was relieved to see the closed security door. The security door is okay, which means that no monster has rushed here. Yu reading readers are welcome to come and read. The latest, fastest and hottest serial works are in Yu reading. Mobile users please read. Chapter 14, Sitting Forgetfulness. For collection recommendations, brothers give some strength. Close black lens bracket. Zian, open the door, it's me. Qi Yishanxing breathed a sigh of relief, and immediately shouted to the inside, while ringing the doorbell. It's my brother back. In the room, Zhao Zian and Tang Zidong both held weapons in their hands and stood at the door. When they heard the doorbell and shouts, they hurried forward and immediately saw Yi Tianxing's figure from the cat's eyes. Look. Click. Open the security door. Yi Tianxing and Chen Shiru enter the house quickly, and at the same time, close the security door as fast as possible. Brother, are you okay? Have you been injured? I saw from the balcony that many monsters were killing people, many people were smashed into their heads, and even the bodies were eaten. Zhao Zian picked up Yi Tianxing's backpack. In the past, his eyes glanced back and forth on him, as if looking for signs of injury. "Ba, don't look for it, those monsters can't hurt me. By the way, this one is Chen Shiru. She met outside before, and she has nowhere to go for a while, and will stay with us for a while." Yi Yixing said with a smile. When I returned home, my tense nerve could not help but relax. My home is a haven. Oh, Shiru, this is Zhao Zian, this is Tang Zidong. You can call me Zian, just call her Zidong. If you don't have a place to go, stay here with us first, just to be together. When Zhao Zian heard it, she also smiled and introduced each other. Well, thank you, otherwise I really don't know what to do. If I were outside, I would be eaten by those monsters. Chen Shiru also showed gratitude. The three daughters are all beauties of the same level, and the beauties are always easy to get close to, especially in this apocalyptic scenario. Faced with countless monsters falling from the sky, it is always easier for people to get along with each other. Of course, this is just the beginning of Miri. Once it continues, the human heart will change at an unimaginable speed. Darkness, ruthlessness, despair, and death will be the subjects among them. Brother, what are these, so beautiful beads? Zhao Ziyan had opened Yi Tianxing's backpack. Suddenly, a backpack's items appeared in front of her eyes. Each of those wishing to be a force bead seemed to be the top jewelry. One cannot help but love. These are wish beads, obtained after killing monsters. After the death of each monster, such wish beads will appear in the body. According to the understanding, the cataclysm outside and human obsession, fantasy, darkness, etc., many emotional wishes force is closely related. Those monsters are monsters that exist in fantasy, monsters condensed by human illusory fantasies. They all appear in the real world. Kill them and you will get pure wish beads. This is baby. Quote. Qi Yishanxing took a deep breath and said Shen Shang. For the outside things, he also told some of the situations he knew. At this moment, if we can get a better understanding, we can adapt more quickly. This is bound to be completely different from the original world and completely fragmented. There are other reasons. Brother, how did you know that? Zhao Ziyan was shocked when she heard it, but she was also curious how Yi Tianxing knew it. She didn't believe it, and just went out to find out more news. It's Chen Shiru. She has a strange treasure named Wushu Tianshu, which can record many major events between heaven and earth. This cataclysm is recorded therein. Including the history of this catastrophe, there are detailed records in it. Quote. Qi Yi Tianxing said directly to Chen Shiru. Wordless heaven book, there is such a treasure. When Tang Zidong heard it, he could not help showing a hint of surprise. This treasure is not an ordinary item at first sight. This is also my good luck. There were cracks in the sky before, and there were a lot of strange treasures falling from the sky. It just happened that this wordless scripture fell directly on my house. Otherwise, I wouldn't know these things. Wu Zishanshu can record various events, can know the information of various treasures. Chen Shiru said humbly. Why didn't I get hit by Yi Bao? Zhao Ziyan said a little depressed when she heard it. Okay, Ziyan, this chance is very small, you can get different treasures, that's Shiru's own luck, she can't be envious. Tang Zidong was a little calm about these. After all, this probability is really small. Otherwise, everyone in the world can be smashed by different treasures. The good thing about falling pie in the sky is not so easy to come across. Moreover, even pie can be strangled to death. Brother, take a look at what these are, a lot of willing beads. Zhao Ziyan didn't have any resistance to these shining wish beads, and her eyes were glowing. May the beads be more precious than any gem. I hope Lizu is a good thing and can be of great benefit to cultivation. Take a look at it and find things to pack. These are treasures. If you start to cultivate in the future, these are the best resources. The pure incense in it can be directly refined into cultivation. Far faster than normal cultivation. Yi Tianxing nodded his head. I wish Lizu had checked the wordless book of heaven before to know its function. That wish Lizu is definitely a treasure like a cheater. A white wishing force pearl, if it is all refined, is equivalent to the practice of a year of hard work for ordinary people. And refining the wish beads depends on how they work, whether fast or slow. An ordinary monk refining one is about 10 days and a half months. If you have excellent talents and powerful methods, you may be able to refine one or even a few in a day. But this is definitely a treasure to upgrade to strength. No matter how much it is not too much. And, well, these wishing beads are the most. They are going to fill up the backpack completely. I'll get the box to pack. Zhao Ziyan immediately ran to the bedroom excitedly and found a silver white box. The box is idiosyncratic and bulletproof. In the past, Yi Tianxing helped a local tyrant boss to solve a spiritual incident, and specially sent a box of cash. The cash in it is not simple. This box is not simple, bulletproof, fireproof, waterproof and shockproof, made of special materials. Really good, so stayed. Now comes in handy. A bunch of crystal clear wish beads were continuously put into the box. At the same time silently counting. In a few moments, all the wish beads had been counted. A total of 1,123 white wishing beads and 3 cyan wishing beads. You even killed so many monsters at once. Tang Zidong looked at Yi Tianxing in surprise, and just knew that there is only one wishing bead in the monster. You either are more than 1,000 here, which means that more than 1,000 monsters have died. What an amazing strength this is. Many were not killed by me. It was completely accidental to get so many willing beads. It was a fortune made by chance. Yi Tianxing said with a smile. It would be impossible to collect so many wish beads without the injustice of the soldiers. What's in this ball of light? Zhao Ziyan looked curiously at the light ***** and asked. This light sphere contains the essence of those monsters, some treasures condensed by fantasy wish. What are the specifics? I do not know if the light sphere is not opened. However, it may also be some refining materials. Yi Yixing said with a smile. I also look forward to these light balls. Green bone, looks the same as jade. Is this the material obtained from the monster? After Tang Zidong picked up a light ball and crushed it, a green bone appeared and looked very pretty. Wolf's teeth, bones, kneadable tools, top-class products. After Zhao Ziyan picked up a light ball and crushed it, a huge dagger-like wolf tooth appeared in it, flashing with cold light, extremely sharp, and could feel its sharpness. At the moment of crushing, I knew what the material was. It seems that the light ball contains a message in itself. But after crushing and picking up Longfang again, this kind of message will not come to mind. This seems to be a rule in the bottom. This rule is very mysterious. Shangtong. The same record also appeared in the book without words, which has gradually enriched its content with the continuous growth of experience. Obviously, it is indeed a treasure. Zombie teeth, bones, medicinal materials. Can be refined, can be used as medicine. Yellow step inferior. Wolf skin, leather material, kneading device, garment making, and low-grade products. Each item is counted continuously. Brother, it seems to be exercises in this ball of light. Zhao Ziyan said suddenly. I only saw that in the hands of Yu reading, a light ball had been crushed. He appeared in the hands of a non-gold and non-jade book. There was a faint halo above, mysterious in simplicity. Yi Yixing reached out to take over. In the book, there are a few ancient characters full of charm. Sit and forget the scriptures. Shenhai Jing Gong Fa, cultivation. You can open up the Shenhai. You can practice gathering qi, Shenquan, Huahai. Complete the Shenhai state practice. There are internal maps, congenital Yiki view map, between sitting and forgetting, contemplating the innateness, and finally opening up the sea of God. Thousands of people practice, thousands of sitting and forgetting. When Zhao Ziyan crushed the ball of light, she had already received the message about sitting and forgetting sutras. Sure enough, it's the practice of practice, and there is also a record in the Wushu Tianshu. This, Zhu forgetting scripture, is the best practice of building the foundation, the best and best practice in the same level, and the true spirit is the most suitable. His own body fits perfectly with his own physique. For the fire-type physique, what is cultivated is the true qi of the fire type. It can also be modified at any time without any hidden dangers. Quote. Shui Chen Shiru also opened the book without words and said happily. A man has 7 emotions, a heart has 6 desires, sits and forgets, the heart is like stopping the water, the asterisk is clear, and the qi comes from nothing. Zan Yishanxing opened the Zan forgetting scriptures, which is a section of mystery and mystery. Between the lines, there is a mysterious charm. Makes people understand the true meaning of it. Moreover, there is an imagination picture in it, which is congenital Yiki vision picture, which seems to be just a congenital qi, but it is mysterious and indescribable. Yu reading readers are welcome to come and read. The latest, fastest and hottest serial works are in Yu reading. Mobile users please read. Chapter 15, 2 different treasures. Although it is not as good as the Yu Long Tian Jing, to a certain extent, it is not inferior to the Yu Long Tian Jing. It can be said to be the most advanced foundation building technique in the world, and the true energy you cultivate is best for you. In the future, when you transfer to other exercises that are suitable for you, you can effortlessly complete the transformation of exercises. Chu Shi on the appearance of this exercise at the moment is of special significance to Yi Tianxing. Yi Tianxing has his own, Yonglong Tianjing, so naturally he doesn't need any other skills. As long as he keeps practicing, he can naturally grow his cultivation ability, but this, Yonglong Tianjing, is obviously not suitable for Zhao Ziyan's practice, and this, sit forgetting the scriptures, came at the right time, allowing them to go one step ahead of their spiritual path. Wu Invisible, can already lead most people, standing in the forefront. In the last days, strength is the only guarantee. Brother, can we practice this book of forgetful scriptures? Zhao Ziyan looked at Yi Tianxing and asked expectantly. Well, there is no threshold for sitting and forgetting scriptures. It is suitable for anyone to build a foundation. Men and women can cultivate their own true energy. It belongs to the top exercises and is suitable for you. As long as you can open the treasures in your body, open Shanhai, even if you are on the road to spiritual practice. However, whether you can open Shanhai depends on your own qualifications, and whether you can understand the essence of this congenital and inspiring vision map, and finally conceive instinctively, and finally open Shanhai. Quote. Yi Tianxing nodded his head. However, if the exercises are available, whether you can get started or not, it all depends on your own qualifications. No one can help. Some people have failed qualifications and cannot enter the state of sitting and forgetting. Out of breath, open up the sea of God. Some people can do it in an instant. This is the difference in qualifications and mood. It's great, you can really cultivate. There are really monks in this world who can become strong through training and become immortals and demon Buddhas. Even at this moment, Tang Zidong also showed joy and excitement. However, obviously, it is not the time to start cultivation immediately. I do and say that Gongfa needs to be understood and requires meditation. Even if you practice right away, you won't be able to succeed immediately. What can be accomplished is genius. Besides, there are still so many things waiting to be counted. This is just a part of the inventory. With the book, Forgetting to Sitting, the three women's expectations of other light spheres have become stronger. Crackling, each ball of light was crushed and opened. The treasures inside the urn are constantly presented. Da Bu Fen, most of them are various materials, from the essence of monsters and beasts. Condensed various treasures. The folding wave sword technique, Huang Jia's middle-class combat skills, the sword technique is divided into 9 styles. When it is displayed, such as Zhong Tao Tao Tao, it is continuous, and the sword air is like Zhong Dao. The momentum is endless. If you practice to the extreme, you can understand the sword potential. You are talented and you can sense the overlapping waves. The swords are like waves, and they can be superimposed. After a short while, a jade book appeared again. This time it wasn't the exercises, but the swordsmanship. It seems that the power of this combat technique is not weak. Gongfa is the foundation of practice, and combat skills are the basis of life protection. Both are naturally indispensable. There are also here, basic swordsmanship, has no grade-level combat skills, including basic kendo methods, pull, stab, chop, cut, twist, collapse, sweep, 8 basic sword styles, suitable for beginners to learn swords. For the root of swordsmanship, the more exquisite the basic swordsmanship is, it will be of great help to comprehend the advanced kendo combat skills. Quote. Zhao Ziyan found another jade book, which recorded the basic swordsmanship. Moreover, there is no rank. I also have it here. This is the basic knife method, which has no grades. It contains the basic knife method, including splitting, chopping, picking, cutting, collapsing, stabbing, sweeping, and dragging. It is suitable for monks who have just come into contact with the knife. Is the root cause of the knife technique. The more proficient, the faster the practice of the knife technique, the faster the realization. Quote. Shui Chen Shiru also said, holding a jade book. This is the third technique and skill found. Ji Yishanxing took it in his hand and quickly looked at it. These are indeed the most basic swordsmanship. Not to mention now, even in the library in the past, you can find it casually, and the records inside are not much different, but it is more detailed in it, and the narrative of the sword is more detailed and more clear. Understand basic swordsmanship. Very mysterious. Well, they are all good things. In the future, if you are interested, you can practice them. This is the skill that is condensed from heaven and earth. It should be the imprints of the heavens and earth inscribed in the meditation. What we saw before was more detailed. There is no harm in learning. Quote. Yi Tianxing nodded his head. The jade books that record the exercises are not simple. The paper used is not ordinary paper. It is very extraordinary. I am afraid that it is difficult to destroy it with water and fire. This is a tactical technique derived from the laws of heaven and earth, which is definitely not comparable to ordinary books. With this in mind, it is possible to foretell that the beads of willingness can be gathered from the monster's body. The wishing force is a rather incredible existence, capable of turning decay into magic, and turning impossible into possible. Huge willingness, even those monsters can be found out of nothing, not to mention Gongfa combat skills. various treasures, still can give birth. As long as you believe, it exists. That's the root. Unconsciously, everything has been opened and the inventory is complete. The last thing left is the 2 different treasures obtained by Yi Tianxing. Brother, is this the treasure you were looking for before? Open it and see what it is. Zijiao Zian looked curiously at the 2 light asterisk in front of her, and the magic of Yibao can be seen from the wordless book. Naturally, a strong curiosity is inevitable. Well, Brother Yi opened it quickly, and Zitong was also curious. Tang Zidong said with a smile. Well, let me see what it is. Qi Yishanxing nodded his head for the first time. These 2 treasures were equally curious. This is a treasure descending from the sky, and each one must be extraordinary and extraordinary. It may even be a unique treasure. Hold the first ball of light in his hand, the light dissipated. Suddenly, a boxy box appeared in the hands like the Rubik's Cube. A light followed into Yi Tianxing's mind. There was a crystal-like light shining on it. A moment. Yi Tianxing opened his eyes and looked at the Rubik's Cube in his hand, frowning slightly, showing a strange color. This is indeed a Rubik's Cube, and it is still a Rubik's Cube that is constantly running. It seems to be constantly changing positions every moment. Transformation. There are grids on the top, each grid is the same size. These grids move each other, alternate by themselves, but the surface looks exactly the same. Another dimension kills the cube. Yi Yixing looked strangely at the crystal cube in his hand. Ji Dao, he knows that this is from a movie, if not mistaken, it is a different dimension to kill. There are a large number of identical rooms in it. There are safe and dangerous killers in the room. Once accidentally entered, they will be instantly killed by the trap inside the agency. It's pretty scary. But there is a hint of vitality in it. Zhenju, according to the information, the cube in his hand is the same as the cube in the different dimension killing array, but this is an embryo of the different dimension killing cube. The organ traps derived from it are not very strong, they are only in the initial state, but they have the infinite potential for continuous growth. Can become stronger with the killing. Moreover, once you recognize the Lord, you can easily set the rules of killing, the operation of Rubik's Cube, and so on. Now it is only the most primitive and initial state. It belongs to the embryo that has just been bred. It takes time to grow and continue to transform. Moreover, its potential is almost endless. Yi Tianxing also watched the movie Killing the Array in surprise. The traps and killings in it are really terrible. Only a few people can escape if they are sent in. And, in the end, it even involves boundaries such as time and space. The room inside now has only 126 squares, and each square is exactly the same. However, no specific traps have been set for the organization, which can be set by Yi Tianxing himself. Once confessed, in this cube, he is the Lord, Oracle. However, Yu reading is not useful anymore. After Yi Yixing frowned slightly, he didn't say much. Set this crystal-like cube aside. This strange treasure is temporarily unavailable, so look at the second one. Yi Yixing looked at the second light ball again. Ku Guang ball was pinched and a strange treasure had fallen into his hands. If you look closely, it is a city wall that seems to shrink many times. It is just a small section. It is white and snowy. At a glance, you can feel a powerful immortality. Standing in front, you can stand on your own. It turned out to be this thing. Qi Yishanxing received the message from it, and after digesting and absorbing it, he could not help revealing a strange color. However, he did not explain, but just said calmly, "Okay, I didn't expect these 2 treasures, and none of them can directly increase strength. I can see that it is not used. For now, it is better than the Bible is even more important." Quote. In his voice, 2 strange treasures were put away. The 3 daughters saw Yi Tianxing didn't mean to speak and didn't delve into it. They are not blindly chasing people. Sometimes, if you know something, you should treat it as unknowing. These 2 things are different. Yi Tianxing obviously did not want to mention more, and naturally did not ask too much. Anyway, these are the treasures that Yi Tianxing got himself. Nothing can be said without notice. After counting all the items, the whole room could not help quieting down for a while. I was outside, but I still could hear all kinds of screams. Yu reading readers are welcome to come and read. The latest, fastest and hottest serial works are in Yu reading. Mobile users please read. Chapter 16. The Weakness of the Army. Those monsters don't have any rest thoughts. Falling from the sky and coming into the world, countless humans are blood food in their eyes, and they are weak and delicious, and the eyes that have been stimulated have turned red, one by one, like wolf-like tigers, smell the popularity, and then kill the past. Even in the hidden high-rise buildings, various monsters continue to rush in. There are too many monsters. Although the cracks in the void only disappeared for a moment, the number of monsters and beasts that can come out of the cracks is already inhuman. Densely packed, all over the world, not limited to cities, in the suburbs, in the wilderness, there are more, and, as soon as they are close to the city, they are rushing into the city frantically. There are too many people in the city. For them, it is dark, candlelight. Bad screams happen almost every moment. Everywhere. Fortunately, a moment after the crack appeared, the crack had disappeared. The monsters did not continue to appear. I hope the advent of these monsters is over. Otherwise, in this world, I don't know how many people can survive. This situation is too tragic. Qi Yishanxing took a deep breath and looked out the window. It is already quite unsafe outside. Gei-yong, various monsters appear on the ground endlessly, and even birds all over the sky begin to hover in the sky. From time to time, he fell from the sky and forcibly grabbed a famous human and became food in his mouth. Every moment, someone dies. Bang bang bang. Rumble. As soon as Yi Tianxing finished counting all the harvests, suddenly there was a fierce gunfire outside. Brother, it's the sound of gunfire. There is a garrison near SH City. It must be that the army has reacted and started to hunt monsters. Zhao Ziyan heard it, her face showing joy. So fierce gunfire, it's nearby. Tang Zidong also stood up excitedly. Any time, the military gives a strong sense of security. Yi Yixing and the three women walked to the balcony together. After hearing the gunfire, many people also showed excitement. One after another came to the balcony, to the window, expecting to look outside. Great, the army is the army. The country has finally started sending troops to rescue us. Faced with the powerful firepower in the army, those monsters will surely be killed soon. Shah, kill these monsters, kill these cannibalizing monsters, kill all of them. Don't leave one. My parents were eaten by them. Where are the tanks, the fighters, and the helicopters? Why haven't you seen them? Many people make angry cries. But some people find that only automatic firearms, some grenade guns, and the roar of tank armored vehicles are not heard at all, let alone large killers such as helicopters and fighters. This is obviously abnormal. If the army is dispatched, it is impossible not to carry such large-scale war weapons. There are no large weapons and no mechanized war weapons. It seems that something has changed. Yi Tianxing listened to the sound of guns and reached the same conclusion. The mobile phone can't be turned on anymore. It used to have enough power. It seems to have been damaged by something. It can't be used, Zhao Ziyan said after taking out her mobile phone and shaking it. It should be that during the previous cataclysm, there was some mysterious force that destroyed all these smart electronic items. Moreover, the power supply was stopped at the beginning of the cataclysm. All modern electronic items are afraid of being completely scrapped. Only relying on firearms only I am afraid it's difficult to turn things around. The troubled times are doomed to come. Quote. Qi Yishanxing took a deep breath and said Shen Shang. Before that, he had discovered that all the electricity was scrapped and all the precision items were unavailable. In this case, the state unit was actually in a state of paralysis, and it was already in front of itself. Things. The sound of shotguns completely attracted the attention of a large number of monsters. He swept across in the direction of gunfire. Make the gunfire more dense. This scene also gives a lot of hope to many people trapped at home. Expect the army to kill all the monsters, and rescue them. However, obviously, this expectation is just a luxury. The loud gunfire sounded for more than an hour. But it always appears on the edge of the suburb, there is no way to enter the city center. And, over time, I can hear that the sound of gunfire has begun to weaken compared to before, and the intensity is far worse than the beginning. It seems that the army cannot invade the urban area. Those monsters came too suddenly. I am afraid that a number of soldiers in the barracks had died in the hands of the monsters caught off guard. The time of the cataclysm was early in the morning. No one will have much defense, even if the soldiers in the barracks have already got up, but they must have just started to get up and groomed. They were caught off guard, without weapons, and there may not be a few casualties. Quote. He Yishanxing heard the gunshot that was gradually weakening, and shook his head slightly. I didn't have much hope for the rescue of the army, so I couldn't talk too much about disappointment. I just feel more severe about the situation that the whole world will face next. The military is the most direct violent institution and the strongest foundation in every country. But now it seems that even the military cannot play a decisive role in the face of sudden disasters. The loss of the army with the most advanced modern weapons and large-scale weapons of destruction can be said to have weakened to the extreme. All plutonium missiles were scrapped, and nuclear weapons were scrapped. All electrical appliances were destroyed without automation. It can be said that it was once before returning to liberation. In the face of massive monsters, only the power of firearms is not enough to look at. Not to mention some monsters, they are not afraid of bullets at all. He is like a zombie, with a bullet hitting him, no different from tickling. There are also blue wolves that can spray wind blades. There are not a few birds in the air. It is a huge threat. Before that, Yi Tianxing saw dense vultures circling in the air. Those vultures are so huge that they are definitely not bad. I just saw that the violent birds have also rushed in the direction of the sound of gunfire. Obviously, they are definitely not for sightseeing. Even the army was unable to play a decisive deterrent and achieved fruitful results. Obviously, the order of the entire world collapses. I am afraid that it will be within these short days. This situation cannot be changed. Unless it is to restore power, restore communications, and restore those weapons of mass destruction, it is absolutely impossible. And this possibility is obviously impossible. When the cataclysm happened, the world changed. The most direct thing is to destroy all electricity. All kinds of delicate items were damaged. No specific reason is known to Yi Tianxing. I'm afraid this is the law of heaven. What do we do now? Zhao Ziyan grabbed Yi Tianxing's arm. Obviously, her mood was not calm. Now the world is changing, no one knows what will happen next, but it is irreversible that modern civil order will be completely destroyed. It is necessary to plan early. Changes in this world and spiritual practice may become the right path. Forgetting the scriptures is here. The three of you can now start to think about cultivation and see if you can get started. If you can follow the path of cultivation, it will definitely be of great benefit to you in the future. Quote, Qi Yishanxing has felt that from the time of the cataclysm to the present, the vitality of heaven and earth between heaven and earth seems to be continuously increasing and recovering. This speed is quite amazing. Others can't feel it. He has begun cultivation and opened up the Sea of Shen. A true dragon spirit has condensed in his body. The reaction to the vitality of heaven and earth is far beyond ordinary people. Can clearly feel the changes between heaven and earth. This is the world's vitality is recovering rapidly. The recovery of vitality is the era when the cultivation civilization begins to recover. In the process of recovering this vitality, if you practice, it will definitely have great benefits, and it will be of great help in sensing the vitality of the world. Because the concentration of heaven and earth's vitality at this time is constantly increasing and changing, as long as the qualifications are not bad, it is possible to easily get started. Gather your own true energy. Open up the Sea of God. Embark on the path of spiritual practice. Brother, how do you practice this, Zhu forget? Zhao Ziyan asked, looking with a touch of expectation. You reading books www.yuekanshu.com. The most important thing in sitting and forgetting scriptures is the imagination map. Immediately think about it and eliminate your own thoughts. Put all your mind on the congenital one-time vision map, and continue to realize the contemplation of the congenital imagination. Qi Yishanxing took out the sitting scriptures and placed them in front of the three women, saying, Okay, Zidong, Sharu, let's practice together to see who starts first. Zhao Ziyan said with a smile. Well, Brother Yi, this is a book without words, don't you want to watch the book? Now for you. Chen Sharu took out a crystal-like jade book, handed it to Yi Tianxing, and said softly. This is already said before. The book let me see it that day and see if I can find anything. Yi Tianxing nodded his head, without any pretense, took the wordless Tianshu directly and held it in his hands. A warm and cold breath was passed from the heavenly book to the hands, making people seem to be clearer. Immediately, the three women sat on the floor cross-legged, sitting in front of them, sitting on the floor, and the page that opened turned out to be the mysterious, congenital vigorous vision picture. It is constantly changing, as if it is truly innate. Fascinating. As the eyes fell on the imagination map, the hearts of the three women seemed to be immersed in them. For the outside world, he started to ignore. No thoughts and no thoughts. It's time to see what the secret of this wordless book is. Shuan Yishanxing stroked the wordless Tianshu, and he was not too worried about the three women. A simple vision would not be dangerous. This is especially true of the gentle method of sitting and forgetting sutras. UU reading readers are welcome to come and read. The latest, fastest and hottest serial works are in UU reading. Mobile users please read. Chapter 17, Day 1 Cataclysm. At best, it is impossible to comprehend the essence, and as long as it is not forced, there will be no danger. Sometimes, letting things go is perfect. Whether I can gain something depends on whether they have such an opportunity. After all, sitting and forgetting the scriptures is also the best practice method. On the foundation, there are unparalleled advantages of ordinary exercises. If you can get started, it will definitely be good for the future. Especially nowadays when the fluctuations of the vitality of the world are extremely fierce and ordinary, it is the best time to get started. Is a great opportunity. Wuzi Tianshu is indeed a treasure from the sky. The whole body is crystal-like as jade, but the paper is not gold, non-jade, non-paper, but not material. I don't know what material it is. On the surface, the 4 ancient characters of No Word Heavenly Book are engraved impressively. In the eyes, you can know what it means. Brush. Wu Yishanxing didn't hesitate to sit down on the sofa next to him and slowly opened Wushu Tianshu. Bingbu, there are not many pages in this wordless heavenly book, it is just born, there are not many recorded things, only 2 or 3 pages. As more and more things are recorded, the number of pages on them will continue to increase, resulting in self-derivation. This is one of the mysteries that belongs to Wushu Tianshu. In the early morning of September 23, 2019, a natural disaster came. The heavens are changing, all souls are full of heaven and earth. The heavens are unbearable, the evil thoughts are rampant. The business minds have evolved into the fantasy world. The evil thoughts, good thoughts, obsessions, desires are entangled. Coming, all realms blend, all things frost and freedom to compete in the sky. Quote. This is the opening, the destruction, and the new life. This era is the eternal era. This year is the first year of the eternal calendar. Cataclysm. On the first day, the cataclysm is on, the heavens and earth are different, the vitality of the world is recovering, monsters are rampant, and death and despair accompany it. On the first page, plain lines of plain text appeared before the eyes. Even if it is Yi Tianxing, there is a kind of strong depression. It seems that the pressure is coming. That feeling is suffocating. There is not much text on it, but it is enough to make people feel how cruel the situation will be. A few paragraphs of text have clearly outlined the changes that have taken place between heaven and earth. It is indeed a cataclysm. Although it is prosperous in the 21st century, it can be accompanied by an infinite release of ideas, material desires, and the complexity of the human heart, which have never been seen in ancient times. Moreover, desire and selfishness have reached an unprecedented level. The power of the human heart can control the world. I am afraid that this cataclysm is the inevitable result of the accumulation of thousands of years. Yi Yishanxing shook his head slightly, and the complexity of the human heart was the straw that created the cataclysm, overwhelming the Tao of heaven, and forced the world to change. Start a new era. At the same time as the era of He, it was accompanied by the death and mourning of countless creatures. Eternal era. Is this the name? It even appeared directly on the Book of Wordlessness. It seems that this is the trace left by heaven and earth, and the eternal era is about to start. Yi Yixing murmured to himself. As soon as this era is heard, one can feel a strange feeling. Seems extraordinary. Unfortunately, there is too little information. No matter how powerful he is, he can't guess what will happen. What's more, he is not an IQ who is bursting into reason. He can't figure it out and can only give up temporarily. Cataclysm, the first day. What does this mean? Does it have any special significance? Yi Tianxing groaned secretly. Ran, since the cataclysm has already happened, it is impossible to reverse it. It is not necessary to mark the word, Day 1, in the book without words, which is definitely not a simple message recorded in the book. The record in the Book of Heaven is certainly not an ordinary message. It must have its profound meaning, and it also indicates the changes that occurred on the first day of this cataclysm. The fall of the natural disaster, the emergence of different treasures, the revival of the vitality of the heavens and the earth, the monsters run rampant, countless human died under the monsters' minions. This has been verified, and it is generally the same as recorded in the Book of Heaven. There is the first day, then there is the second day. However, is there any other change that will occur the next day? Quote. Yi Yixing thought secretly, this is not a trivial matter. The existence of Wushu Tianshu may provide direct insight into the changes in heaven and earth. Moreover, according to Tianshu records, this is obviously the transformation that has to take place after the heaven and earth have reached a limit. It can be said to be a kind of growth and a new era. But obviously, the world will change a lot. This great change may not be achieved overnight, but is completed step by step. 50 Avenue, 50 or 9 Heavenly Road, one of them is alive for the front line. It is impossible for Tiantiandi to completely exterminate the entire world. In the process, there will still be a hint of vitality. It depends if we can hold it. You can't control that much. Now the monsters are rampant outside, and even the army can't change the battle situation. The only thing you can do now is to strengthen your own strength. In this eschatology, only your own strength is everything. Fortunately, I have good luck. I can be reborn from the disaster 3 days ago, and I can make some preparations in advance. Although it may not be useful, it can be considered as doing everything I can do. Machine, the first batch to start the path of spiritual practice. It is also to obtain a few unique treasures. In any case, we must make good use of this opportunity. Quote, Yi Tianxing groaned secretly. His current advantage is to take the path of spiritual practice first, to open Shanghai in the body, to open the treasures of the human body, and to formally enter the threshold of spiritual practice. Moreover, the practice is still from the sky, is very important. Then there is the innate yin and yang eye that is inherently accompanied by itself. If that's right, congenital yin and yang eyes are congenital destiny opened by themselves. It is innate magical power. This is a natural capital. If it is developed to a high level, it is absolutely no small matter. Now the yin and yang lock is already the killer in his hand. This is just the first ability of congenital yin and yang eyes. As long as it is continuously tempered, it is possible to inspire new capabilities. This is the advantage of Yi Tianxing. But if you don't expand your advantage as much as possible, you will be chased afterwards, and all advantages will be lost. Although the Royal Dragon Classic has already been introduced, I have just condensed the first true dragon spirit, which is useless at all. I must grow the true dragon spirit in my body as soon as possible, impacting the 8 classic veins. The first small realm of the realm is called Qi. Qi impacts the meridians of the whole body and penetrates the whole body. Opening up the Shanghai, condensing the first strand of true energy in the body, which is the weight of the Shanghai realm. Then accumulating the true energy and impacting the 12 canals. As long as you open a meridian, it will break through to the second one, and wait until the 12 canals are completely rushing away as the second peak. Breaking through the 8 classic veins is the third one. Once all the 8 classic veins are opened, it is the third peak. The practice of gathering qi is complete. Quote, the path of practice, step by step scenery. According to rumors, in ancient times, people from the martial arts of lakes began to practice. Due to the lack of a part of the secret cultivation method, they could only take the road to open the gas gathering in Dantian instead of opening the god's possession at the navel's eye. 12 canonical and odd canal. Once you get through the second pulse of Rendu, you are the masters of the innate realm. But there are only a handful of people who can really get through the second pulse of the governor. The difficulty is conceivable. There are many masters, but a few people become innate. Difficult to practice, difficult to get to the sky. Fortunately, as long as the Shenzang is opened and the Sea of God is opened at the position of the navel eye, the invisible isle of the navel eye can be used to connect with the outside world and learn the vitality of the outside world for cultivation. Enhance your vitality. This is much better than opening up in Dantian, and the speed of practice will be several times and dozens of times faster. This is the advantage of the right path. It's time to try Lizu. Yi Yishanxing's eyes fell on the crystal clear beads of hope. Fan opened the wordless book again. Mei Lizu, condensed from the incense of faith for all sentient beings, is a kind of obsession. Whether good or bad, you can condense Lizu. The more pure Zuzu is, the better. Otherwise, pure, willing power is poisonous. There will be small black dots on the disjunctive wish beads. Pure wish beads, you reading are flawless and flawless. Quote, wish Lizu refining and refining. You can increase cultivation, speed up your own absorption and refining of heaven and earth vitality, and strengthen the spirit. The higher the rank of Lizu, the greater the benefit. White wish beads can increase the speed of absorbing the vitality of the heaven and earth by 10 times. Cyan wish beads can increase by 100-fold. In Wushu Tianshu, there is a detailed record of Yuan Lizu. As long as it is detected by Wushu Tianshu, its origin and use can be revealed in it. Although it cannot be attacked, it is not inferior to any other treasure to a certain extent. Even more precious. I can save a lot of time by having a book. Kong, and from the eyes of these wish beads, we can see that these are perfect, flawless, pure wish beads. Without a trace of impurities, it is the result of the purest desire. The bad part is the monsters themselves. They are dead and gone. Plutonium can be absorbed and refined without any hidden dangers. The method of absorbing and refining is simple. One is placed directly on the belly button, and the other is contained in the mouth. Of course, if it is swallowed directly and incorporated into Shanghai, it is also possible. However, if the refining is not completed, in Shanghai, Lizu will continue to dissipate the will, and some will be integrated into cultivation and some will be dissipated directly. There will be no small loss. Unless you can run the exercises on your own, it will continuously absorb and refine. Otherwise, no one will be extravagant enough to send the wishing force beads directly into the sea of God, especially when they have just entered the path of spiritual practice. They will not make such wasteful actions. The ravioli is contained in the mouth. It is not absorbed and can be spit out again. UU reading readers are welcome to come and read. The latest, fastest and hottest serial works are in UU reading. Mobile users, please read. Chapter 18, May the Magic of Lizu. For collection recommendation, smashed 2 tickets, close black lens bracket. Generally speaking, every wishing force bead, even the wishing force contained in the white wishing force beads, is quite huge. When I first started on the path to spiritual practice, it was difficult to fully absorb refining in one go, unless it was a gift of talent. After Yi Yixing thought for a while, she put a white wishing bead directly in her mouth. Suddenly, when he thought about it, he naturally thought of the 4 sea ancestors, and his mind seemed to be trapped in a mysterious chaos. The vast expanse of the sea stretches in all directions, and an ancestor dragon swims in the sea, swallowing clouds and fog. Coiled in Zhujiang Shanhai. With the beginning of the imagination, suddenly, a powerful suction was naturally transmitted from Zulong. In Shanhai, you can feel that a stream of heaven and earth vitality is continuously flowing along the position of the navel eye, directly immersed. To Shanhai, was swallowed into Zulong as soon as possible. Moreover, the white wishing beads contained in the mouth naturally exudes a mysterious atmosphere. The silky white light is flowing around, covering the whole body, so that the speed of absorbing the vitality of the heavens and the earth suddenly increases 10 times. There seemed to be a strange cyclone circulating in the hall. In addition, in the white wish beads, a pure strand of pure white wish force quickly immersed itself in the mouth of Zulong in Shanhai, drew the pure wish. The speed was quite amazing, so that Zulong showed out a look of enjoyment. Wu, suck. Wu Zulong is giving in a mysterious way. And in this swallowing room, what is sucked in is the vitality of the heavens and the earth, pure desire, and what is spit out is a true dragon-like breath, like a real dragon, submerged into the sea of gods. After swallowing and swallowing, the chi in the body is constantly increasing. This feeling of the growth of true dragon chi is very beautiful. Every time you add it, you can feel the strength in the body is growing and the background is increasing. It was as if the sea of emptiness was originally empty, but now it was filled a little bit, and the feeling was very wonderful. Each addition adds a sense of peace of mind that is beyond words. The spirit of the true dragon is like a small dragon traveling through the sea of God, making the sea of God the size of Zhejiang becomes more stable. The quality of the true dragon spirit is very high, even if it seems a bit illusory now. However, it is 10 times or even dozens of times more difficult to form a true dragon spirit than ordinary spirit. However, under the increase of Zuliju, the speed of absorbing the power of refining and condensing the true dragon spirit is not slow. One after another, the spirit of the true dragon kept condensing and fell into the sea of God. The number of true dragon spirits is slowly increasing. Unconsciously, time is passing by. The house of Yi Xingxing is located on the top floor, and the security doors on the outside are all of the best quality. Monsters on the outside are also led away by a large part due to military reasons. Some people in Lucheng also started to have the courage to fight against monsters. I also found that those monsters were not invincible. 3 or 5 people joined forces to deal with some monsters that had orders. Just be careful, it is not too difficult. It also keeps the situation from becoming one-sided. Plus it is resisted by building construction. The monsters' attacks can't become quite rapid either. I have even started to walk out of the house, hunting monsters in groups of 3 or 5. This also allows no monster to kill Yi Tianxing's house at all within a short time. Unconsciously, night has come. Woo! The three daughters exhaled for a long time and woke up from their imagination. There was joy and disappointment in the eyes. Sister Zitong, have you gotten started, and conceived innately? Zhao Ziyan looked at Tang Zidong and asked. No, it seems to feel a little, but it seems to be a little worse. Tang Zidong shook his head slightly. Me too, that innate breath seems to be able to be felt, but it can't be touched. I feel that if I can catch it, I can develop a sense of qi and reopen the qi Haishan possession. Open up the Shanhai. Chen Shiru also nodded. That feeling is very mysterious. But it can really be sensed. Look, Brother Yi seems to be practicing. Tang Zidong's eyes fell on Yi Tianxing, his eyes blinked, revealing a touch of curiosity. Qi Yishan sits with her eyes closed, but a strange airflow is created outside her body, which drives a feeling of breeze flowing around her. The paper is floating. Obviously, this should be in cultivation. Moreover, it is certain that Qi Haishan Tibetan has been opened up and entered the realm of Shanhai. In this regard, the envy of the three women could not help showing a touch of envy. I also have a bit of joy. Yi Tianxing can become a monk and embark on the path of spiritual practice. His strength will definitely increase. It will be a great help to the difficult and dangerous situation to face next. My brother is still practicing and should not wake up in a short time. I heard that cultivation is the most taboo to be disturbed. We are lighter and it's late. Let's cook and wait until my brother wakes up now. Quote. Zhao Ziyan proposed softly. Well, I'm just hungry. Let's cook together. Tang Zidong nodded when he heard and agreed. Then the three women walked into the kitchen together. Prior to the selection of shopping expenses, Yi Tianxing did not forget to purchase some fresh vegetables and meat items. Moreover, the gas tanks used at home, even without electricity, were not afraid to burn the fire. Chai rice oil and salt have reserves, there is nothing missing. Although the three daughters are not exquisite in cooking, some homemade dishes can still be made. You don't need to worry too much about the taste. For a moment, there was a sound of cooking in the kitchen. Woo, I don't know how long in the past, when Yi Tianxing felt that the white wishing beads in his mouth had completely disappeared, his whole mind slowly recovered from his vision. Slowly spit out a stale gas in your mouth. Squinting his eyes open, there was a hint of surprise inside, a touch of shock. The amazing, dragon heavenly scriptures, can have such incredible power. A white wishing bead is a believer praying for 1 year's prayer and condensing. The pure wishing force contained in it, other monks reason for refining, it takes 10 days and a half months, or even longer. The operation of the Yulong Tianjing is completely refining and absorbing only in less than 1 day. This speed is far faster than other monks. Quote. Yi Yixing secretly murmured, I could not help but give birth to a strong excitement. This ability is the supreme help and irreplaceable advantage of being a strong one. This means that his cultivation speed is 10 times or even dozens of times that of others. This is really amazing. The power of the royal dragon heavenly scripture is beyond doubt. When I think about Zulong, the speed of devoting the vitality and willingness of heaven and earth is unimaginable. At that time, I felt that Lizu was continuously refined and tempered into a real dragon spirit. Looking at Shanhai again, I can only see that all the real dragon spirits are swimming. Zhejiang Shanhai has been partly filled with true dragon spirits, but if you look closely, the position of true dragon spirits in Shanhai it's just 1/1000th of an area. The Shanhai he developed is really amazing. The size of Zhejiang is far beyond ordinary people. Yijiang is more than 3 meters, Zhujiang is 20 or 30 meters in size. If you want to completely fill the sea of Shanhai in your body, it is definitely an amazing difficulty. By say just white wishing Lizu, I'm afraid that you need thousands of them. It may even be more than that. To consolidate the spirit of true dragon, the vitality of heaven and earth, and the amount of willingness are far beyond ordinary energy. This is a kind of powerful puppet. Similarly, the strength of the true dragon spirit is also several times more than that of other true spirits. Looking at the hundreds of true dragons in Shanhai, Yi Tianxing nodded secretly. This increase of true dragon spirit can already come in handy in combat. It's just that the meridians haven't been opened up, so it can't be released out of the air and infused into the weapon, but it can be integrated into the flesh and bones so that the physical strength increases dramatically. This pair of combat power has been greatly increased. Wish Lizu, also need a lot of willing Lizu, monster hunting action cannot stop, kill monsters, willing Lizu, can also get all kinds of treasures, even gunfa combat skills, rare treasures, etc. You have to hunt. The more you kill, the more benefits you get. Quote. Although there are not many wishing beads in Yi Tianxing's hands, because of the use of yin soldiers before, he finally made a fortune and harvested a lot of wishing beads. The total number is thousands. However, sitting in the air is not his character. Such treasures, the more accumulated the better. A white wishing pearl of Hua Hua chemical is equivalent to 1 year of normal penance. Yu reading book www.yuakanshu.com. This is no joke. The benefits are really tangible. Brother, you are awake. Zi Zhaozian heard the movement, came out with the food, saw that Yi Tianxing had ended her cultivation, and a look of joy appeared on her face. Well, how do you think about it? Do you feel it? Yi Yixing asked with a smile. There is some induction, but it's a little short of catching the innate breath and opening the Qi Haishan possession. Zhao Ziyan said with some frustration. Induction is a good thing. Even a genius cannot open the Qi Haishan possession at once. As long as you continue to visualize and continue to draw that innate air, you can open up the Qi Hai. Cultivation requires perseverance. Now it is heaven and earth. The moment of change is the best opportunity for cultivating. Be sure to grasp it. Quote. When Yi Tianxing heard it, he nodded. It's good to have induction. If you can't even make induction, then it is not necessary to think about congenital Yiki. That means it is not suitable for this practice. I can't practice the Zujing, and the picture is the root of sitting. The most important part is that you do and have a map. I see, brother. Zi Zhaozian nodded with a smile, put the food on the table, and said, Brother, you should have opened the Qi Hai Shenzang you were practicing before. Well, brother, and I had an adventure before, and the Qi Hai Shenzang had been opened before the heavens and the earth changed. However, I didn't mention a word of the Yonglong Tianjing that I cultivated. This is his secret. Even if he gets closer, he cannot easily reveal it. Yu reading readers are welcome to come and read. The latest, fastest and hottest serial works are in Yu reading. Mobile users please read. Chapter 19, Blood Spring. This is not to distrust Zhao Ziyan, but once others know, they will always take precautions against it, and even use it to look for flaws, which is ultimately bad for themselves. Those who do not pass on are secrets, and those who enter the second person's ears are no longer secrets. Well, you can cultivate as long as you are brother, Ziyan will depend on you to protect him in the future. Zhao Ziyan said with a smile. I'm very happy about it. What a pleasure to say. Tang Zidong also came out with the dish. Nothing, my brother has finished cultivation, and the meals are ready. Let's eat together. It will be dark soon. Zhao Ziyan said with a smile. There are monsters everywhere, and we don't know what will happen after dark. Let's eat it quickly. I haven't had a good meal today. Chen Shiru nodded. Baked food is not too rich. It's all homemade dishes. Braised eggplant with eggplant, scrambled eggs with tomatoes, small stir-fried vegetables, braised pork, braised tofu, and 3 fresh soups. 5 dishes in 1 soup, no more, no less. For 4 people, it should be considered just right. Although there are many ingredients at home, no one knows what will happen next. Shiwu food is the most important thing in a cataclysm. No one can live without food. Well, eat. Let's talk after dinner. Yi Yixing also nodded and said. He then said nothing and sat down together. The craftsmanship of the 3 daughters was pretty good. Although they were not considered chefs, they were at least delicious. The 4 were hungry and tasted immediately. Outside, there was the roar of the monster, and there was even a scream. However, after this day, the 3 women also began to adjust. The fear was pale at the beginning, and now, even if they hear it, they can eat with a big mouth. Only when you are full can you have a chance to stay alive. Only then can I have the strength to do other things. After a short while, a table of meals has been completely eaten. They are very clear. Now every piece of food is quite valuable. They are not qualified to waste. In recent years, no one in the Doomsday series has seen less. It is clear that in the last days, food is the most precious thing. Once food is in short supply, the consequences are hard to imagine. You continue to think about contemporary contemplation map, and now is the most intense moment of heaven and earth change. Every minute and every second is extremely important. The vitality of heaven and earth is changing drastically. Maybe as long as there is an opportunity, you can truly get started and catch the innate. You won't be able to protect yourself until then. Quote. Qi Yishanxing said, he is also looking forward to the three women's rapid growth, getting started, and then they can help. Otherwise, they can be protected now, and it will be difficult to say later. Strength is fundamental. Well, I know, brother. Zhao Ziyan nodded heavily. Before thinking about the congenital one attitude picture, she also felt a completely different kind of fun. When capturing innateness, it was like capturing an elf. It was strange, a little don't feel bored. Next, I will clear our building directly, so as not to be restless at night. When I go out, you will close the security door, no matter who it is, do not open it. Qi Tianxing said flatly. On the side of the couch, let no one sleep. Those monsters rushed into the building, and there was danger everywhere, which he absolutely could not allow. Brother Yi, if you go out, you will hold the Tianshu without words. Tianshu can not only know the information of various treasures, but also the information of those monsters. Chen Shiru said, okay, it's just in the building. The gate of our building is very tight. The outside door has iron doors. As long as the door is closed, some monsters can't come up. It won't take long. Yi Tianxing nodded and promised. After finishing the dishes, Yi Tianxing packed up the weapons again, such as the tang sword, war spear, and carried his backpack on his back. He stepped out of the door without hesitation. Click, Fang, the security door behind him closed directly, holding a tang in his hand, and quickly glanced around. Even if it is already night and there is no electricity, the surroundings are completely dark, but under the eyes of the congenital yin and yang, the surrounding scenes can still be clearly reflected in the eyes, and the night is like the day. Squeak. As if you were aware of the popularity, at the moment Yi Tianxing came out, suddenly, a dark shadow rushed out of the sky from the sky. Before it was thrown out, there was no sign at all, as if it was lying in the ambush, waiting for someone come out. Kill again. What? Ji Yishanxing responded very quickly. When he heard the wind, he immediately looked up, and a dark shadow had already hit him. Do not want to, the backhand is to cut it across. The dark shadow was very weird. The tang sword had not yet fallen on it, and immediately had eyes as long as it had been predicted in advance. It twisted the body directly in midair and turned into an arc. Before the neck. A chill involuntarily spread quickly from his neck. Even if Yi Tianxing responded quickly, his claws were still scratched around his neck, leaving a few bloodstains. Look for death. A yin and yang lock shot out from the eyes, and with a thunderbolt, it was tied to its shadow. The speed of yin-yang lock is extremely fast. Blood-sucking bat. Did the dark shadow bound by the yin and yang locks reflected into his eyes? It was a huge black bat. The eyes of the bat were blood red, showing sharp teeth. The teeth were hollow. Once they bite the living creature, they could immediately draw a lot of blood. Once bitten, I'm afraid all the blood in the body will be absorbed. Sting in the dark is even more terrifying killer. Suddenly, even Yi Tianxing was scratched by the claws of the vampire bat. Huh, he didn't hesitate, and slashed his backhand on the vampire bat's head, and died instantly. Even his soul was forcibly pulled out by the yin and yang locks, tied up, and pulled into the eyes of yin and yang. This world really can't tolerate the slightest slackness, and was almost bitten in the aorta of the neck and changed to other people, afraid that it would be sucked out of blood on the spot and become a cold corpse. Yi Yixing quickly took out the hemostatic spray and sprayed it quickly on the wound, then took out a large band-aid and stuck it to the wound. I can't help secretly creating a vigilance in my heart. The cataclysm doesn't know how many monsters got out of the cracks. The types of monsters are definitely not just some green-skinned monsters, beasts are so simple. There are many more weird monsters constantly appearing. Especially at night, this is completely the home of those monsters, it is the world of monsters. I didn't know how to die if I was not careful. There is baby. Bay vampire bats were killed. It can also be seen that a white wish bead emerged from the corpse. Similarly, a light ball appeared along with it. I wish Li Zhu tossed into the backpack, and the light ball shattered. Blood spring, is it a book of exercises? The light ball burst, a jade book appeared in the hand, and the two ancient fonts of the bleeding spring appeared on it, which looked very strange, but now is not the time to delve into it. After a brief glance, put the book in the backpack. Go straight downstairs. This building is very high, and the elevator can no longer be operated. If ordinary urban people climb, if they go back and forth, they will lie on the ground tired. As far as Yi Tianxing is concerned, this is not a thing at all. Even before, when going up and down the stairs, try not to take the elevator. Now let alone, from the top down, a drop of sweat will not flow. Increased vigilance, the monsters who entered the building could no longer threaten him too much. Green-skinned monsters, mice the size of a native dog, and even zombies. In the dark, it is a lethal threat to anyone. After some slaughter, these monsters have fallen under the sword of Yi Tianxing. There aren't many swordsmanship methods, every time I use the most straightforward way. Only to kill the opponent in the fastest time. The growth of the true dragon's qi in the body of the corpse greatly increased the strength in Yi Tianxing's body. With each knife, you can see the trajectory of the sword. Kill those monsters, beasts, and one by one under the sword. I went all the way without encountering two fierce monsters. After walking downstairs, I found that the iron door had been opened, and the outside guard had been torn to pieces. The smell of blood was very strong. The flesh on the bone was chopped off, only some shredded pork. You can't chew. He shook his head without hesitation, quickly closed the iron door again, then returned to the building and began hunting again. In this hunt, each layer of the house will knock on the door. If someone answers, they won't go in. If no one answers, they just enter the door. Take a hunt and clear the entire building down. It took me more than 2 hours. Return home. The 3 daughters have come up with the Zan forgetting scriptures for imagination. Shi Yishanxing didn't bother. Opening his backpack, he took out the harvest obtained by Qingye. I wish I had no need to say more. I only got more than 100 of them this time, all of which were white wishing beads and none of the cyan ones. Putting Zhu Lizu aside, what is left are some light balls. Crush the light ***** one by one. Most of the treasures are some treasures. These are temporarily unavailable. Alas, there is a book here. Basic marksmanship. I opened it, and it looked like the most basic marksmanship. Contains 9 types of basic marksmanship: piercing, stabbing, collapsing, tangling, circling, blocking, sweeping, scoring, and dialing. Each style occupies a page. On it, there is a man in a strong suit holding a spear. As long as he keeps his eyes on it, he can immediately see that the picture is not still, just like living, waving. Long gun, practice marksmanship directly in front of you. Immersive, seems to have witnessed a marksmanship master practicing marksmanship. It makes people deeply understand the true meaning of marksmanship. This is the case in the previous basic swords and basic swords. Can make people understand the method most perfectly. Quickly master swordsmanship. You reading readers are welcome to come and read. The latest, fastest and hottest serial works are in UU reading. Mobile users please read. Chapter 20. Day 2 The sun disappears. The basic marksmanship is not much different from the war spear itself. The skills of the marksmanship can be used on the war spear. The predecessor of the spear is an evolution of the spear itself. Training the marksmanship is no different from the practice of the spear. Common. This basic marksmanship can be practiced. It should make me hunt monsters faster. Quote. Yi Tianxing carefully glanced at the basic marksmanship, and the pictures inside were as lifelike as the real marksmanship masters taught basic marksmanship in practice. He could personally comprehend, even if he only saw it once, he could leave a deep impression in his mind. If it were not for the drill in the lobby, he even had the urge to hold the spear directly and start the drill several times. Bu Guo, but what is this blood spring? After putting down the basic marksmanship, Yi Tianxing once again took the jade book, Blood Spring, which was obtained from the beginning, and watched it carefully. This did not indicate whether it was the exercises or combat skills. Seems special. Before clearing the monsters in the entire building, I didn't have time to look at it, but now I can't help but wonder and start to open it. Fate. Blood Spring has the power to control blood. Once the condensed bleeding spring is opened, it will have the ability to draw blood, quench the blood, and strengthen the flesh. Can be the source of thousands of blood, can be derived from the power of blood, can motivate blood properties of life. It can contain powerful vitality, can repair hidden injuries in the body, can quickly recover the injury, enhance vitality, allow the injury to heal quickly, and recover the wound. To open up the life need. Blood Stone, Blood Lotus. Vampire Bat Teeth, Vampire Vine. In the book, the method of constructing and developing the blood spring is impressively recorded. This is not a simple method. Unless the birth of the blood spring is born, otherwise, you must develop it yourself. It is not simply a matter of opening the acupuncture point. It is also necessary to build a variety of precious wonders to consolidate the true meaning of the bleeding spring, and finally to open the blood spring. Moreover, among them, there is a possibility of failure. In the Jade Book, there are not only the narratives of the blood springs, but also the geniuses and treasures needed for the construction, various wonders, as well as the illustrations of the wonders themselves, and the final construction method of the blood springs. For these reasons, without any part, it is impossible to build a lifeblood, which is very difficult. It turned out to be a life-saving book. This is more precious than previous exercises. After seeing Yi Tianxing, she couldn't help taking a sigh of cold air, and her eyes were shining. This is the method of constructing life and consciousness. Once completed, it is magical power, magic, and Taoism. Can exert all kinds of incredible power. Every way to open up your life tactics is the most precious priceless treasure. Can spawn various magical skills. Both are pretty amazing means. It's like Yi Tianxing's congenital yin and yang eyes born innately. It doesn't need to rely on various natural treasures and singular objects to open up. The yin and yang eyes can pierce the yin and yang, and can also exhibit the power of the yin and yang lock attack. Yin and yang eyes are the source of fate. The yin and yang lock is a magical technique derived from the origin of yin and yang eyes. Even transforming the yin and yang eyes to a higher level, they can also derive other magical skills. This is a process of continuous transformation and promotion. He is like a fountain of blood. It really needs to be opened up, and it can be derived from various blood attributes. As if the magical power of blood has a source and a foundation, it can work and exert its power. The monk realm, Shanhai realm is the first realm, the foundation of spiritual practice, and the second realm is the life knowledge state, which is to open up life knowledge. Without the life knowledge technique, it is impossible to open up life knowledge. It is a fairly straightforward question. It is conceivable that the development method of Blood Springs life tactics is also an extremely precious secret. I won't use it now, I will definitely use it in the future. I didn't expect that to open up life tactics, we need all kinds of geniuses, treasures of heaven and earth. To open up the blood springs, we need 4 kinds of treasures. Among them, the vampire bat teeth are the easiest to get, and one is just obtained. It seems that any life it's not that easy to develop the know-how. Quote. But Yi Tianxing also felt the difficulty of opening up life and tactics. There is nothing that can be exploited out of thin air, and the corresponding treasures are needed. Collecting them is a time-consuming and labor-intensive thing. Each of these treasures is precious, and the future value will definitely continue to soar. Forget it, it's too far away for me to open up my life. I obviously don't need to think too much about it now. Collect these things first, and then I will use them naturally. I thought for a while, and Yi Tianxing was not too obsessed. This is the method of practice after Shanhai realm. For now, there is not much help. Thinking more will not help. Cultivation is not enough, there is no way to open up life. Unless you wake up on your own to open your life. Only then is it possible to take control of life knowledge and obtain supernatural powers before it. Otherwise, the collection of heaven and earth treasures could not be completed. Hurry up and practice. He was thoroughly scrutinized in the mansion, even if there were monsters left, it would not be a threat in a short time. Now it is late at night. It is definitely not a wise choice to go out to hunt monsters. It is obviously impractical to sleep in such an environment. The screams outside and the roar of monsters did not stop for a moment. Cultivation is the best alternative to sleeping. I once again took out a wishing bead. During the import, immediately began to run the Yulong Tianjing, with closed eyes, constantly thinking about pictures of the 4 seas ancestral dragons, imagining the ancestors, devouring heaven and earth vitality, and refining the beads of desire. When you enter cultivation, you can't immediately feel the existence of time. Unconsciously, time has passed quietly. Eyes opened slowly, a breath of breath exhaled from the mouth, and the black and white air flow in the eyes turned. It's 7 o'clock, why is it still black outside? I took a look at the mechanical watch on my hand. This watch is mechanical, not an electronic watch. Instead, it was not destroyed during the cataclysm, and it can accurately display the time. Last night, Yi Tianxing, but a series of refining and chemical treatment of 2 wish beads, turned into the true dragon spirit, gathered in the sea of gas, so that the number of true dragon spirit in the sea of God increased greatly, each one can strengthen the body strength, warming qi and blood. Nowadays, there are hundreds of true dragon spirits in Shanhai, and the scale is not small anymore. If you accumulate some true dragon spirits, you can start to impact the 12 canonical and strange classics. This feeling of getting a little stronger is very beautiful. Brother, it's 7 o'clock, why is it still dark outside? Is the night getting longer? Zhao Ziyan's 3 daughters also woke up. After thinking about it again last night, they were only a mile away from feeling angry. Later I couldn't support it, and went to sleep in the bedroom for a while. I got up and saw that the darkness was still shrouded outside, lit candles, and frowned. Well, why is the weather so cold? I want to keep the temperature down since last night. Now it's 7 o'clock. As usual, the sun has risen. Even if it doesn't rise, it won't be so dark. It's exactly the same as the night. Is there any major problem? Quote. Tang Zidong frowned slightly and said. It's September. According to the current climate, it still belongs to the hot autumn and summer. The sun has begun to rise at 6 o'clock. It is impossible to see 7 o'clock at this time, not even a little light, nothing. This is too surprising. It's abnormal. The catastrophe happened. The world has changed. I don't know what's happening today. We can't change it at all. We can only adapt. Yi Tianxing came to the balcony and looked around, although the surrounding was dark, but in his eyes, most things can still be seen clearly. No worries. Right, Brother Yi, the world has changed. There should be records in the book without words. Take it out and see, maybe you can know what happened. Chen Shiru suddenly proposed. Well, let me see. Yi Yixing heard and nodded in agreement. Bu Zai immediately hesitated and came to the hall together. After sitting down, he took the wordless scripture in his hand. After opening it, paragraphs of text appeared on the scripture. Ji Ranran, the latest record appeared in the Book of Heaven. Cataclysm. On the second day, the sun disappeared, it no longer rose, and darkness shrouded the earth. All beings lost their light, and the severe cold covered the heavens and the earth. Monsters ran across the world. Ju Hua in the wordless heavenly book, this sentence just so directly emerged. www.novelhall.com. There are not many words, but the meaning contained in it can make people feel cold. Even if Yi Tianxing saw them, they were silent for a long time, and there was silence in the hall. The sun disappears and will not continue to rise, at least it is absolutely impossible to rise now. The consequences of the disappearance of the sun are too terrible. First of all, without the sun, the entire earth will be shrouded in darkness, and the consequence of the disappearance of the sun will first be cold, and the entire temperature will begin to drop in the first time, and it will drop rapidly. It won't be long before it will start to snow. The entire earth will enter the ice age. No electricity, no sun, I don't know how many people will be directly frozen to death. In addition to the threat of countless monsters, for the entire human civilization, this is the challenge of life and death. Without the sun, if you really fall into the darkness, the temperature will drop very quickly, and the ice age will accompany it. The heavy snow will cover the entire city. Without the cold-proof quilt clothes, many people will be frozen to death. There are monsters everywhere, even those who are trapped at home and survive will not dare to go out in the dark. If there is no cold protection in the house, the chance of freezing to death is as high as 90%. Quote. Tang Zidong blinked. Shen said. If yesterday was the first day, it was the start of a cataclysm, and the monster came, then the second day is the disappearance of the sun. This may be a transition in the upheaval of the heavens and the earth. The sun may not always disappear. Persistence, there must be a line vitality. Yi Tianxing frowned slightly, carefully considered the information previously seen in the book, and said with some speculation in his heart, www.novelhall.com. Welcome the book readers to read. The latest, fastest, and most popular serial works are here. www.novelhall.com. Mobile users, please read.